All kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Derulo. I love that music connects to people all over the country. But unfortunately, so does something else. Childhood hunger. 15 million kids struggle with hunger right here in America. And yet, every year, billions of pounds of surplus food in the U.S. go to waste instead of going to the children in need. Feeding America is working to change this. The Feeding America nationwide network of food banks rescues this surplus of food to help provide meals to families in virtually every community in the United States, including yours. But they just can't do this alone. Join me in the fight against hunger in America. For more information on what you can do to get involved, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone. Let's all stop what we're doing right now and take a moment. That felt good, huh? Just like that, we had a nice special sort of moment together. Of course, they don't all need to be quiet moments to be special. They could be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. Sounds like somebody agrees. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Today, call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Attention, fantasy sports fans. Does it strike you as odd that the popularity of fantasy sports continues to grow, but the game itself never seems to change? Drafting players to be a part of your fantasy team is cool, but are you looking for something new? If you're a sports fan and you actively look for new ways to have fun and compete while watching sports, you gotta check out StatementGames.com. That's StatementGames.com. Statement Games is a new, simple, yet innovative form of sports gaming that is changing the way thousands of fans view sporting events. With Statement Games, you select player and game props or statements to compete in tournaments for prizes. Sign up for free using your Google or Facebook account. No credit card or debit card information is required. Try StatementGames.com today and watch how we take fantasy sports to the next level.
StatementGames.com. That's StatementGames.com.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
Right there, hold on, right there. Boom, I faked him. Oh, whoa, that was, whoa. I'm back.
But Mama Babo, how you say his name?
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light.
Fighting out of the red corner.
I completely dominated that fifth round. That fifth round want me to fight.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The number one MMA show in America. Caged in MMA.
And we are back finally. It takes a little bit it takes a long time for us to come back. I know we're here every other show, every other Friday, but I want to give a shout out to all the fans that listen to our show every single other week. As you guys know, you can call us at 631-965-4990. This is Caged in MMA. I'm your host, Daryl Marks, my co-host, Mr. Anthony Andorosi. Remember, you can reach us by going to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And guys, you don't even have to go to our website anymore to follow us, listen to all the different clips of our shows, our stories. Every single thing is on our app. How do you get our app? If you have Android, you go to search Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You see our logo, download the app, or you can go to the iOS store, which is the Apple store, and all you have to do is go to www.srn. Again, it's www.srn. Well, we have a great show lined up for you guys today. We have a special guest at 7 o'clock, Dee Hamaguchi, who is an ex-big boxing champion, lady champion, and MMA fighter, judo fighter. So we're going to get her on the show at 7 o'clock. Shout out to Jillian and Ricky for reaching out to her and getting her on the show. So that's going to be fun, and I'm sure she's going to give us a lot that's going on, not only in the boxing world, but in the MMA world, because she's entwined in both of them. But first things first, how are you, Anthony?
I'm good. How are you doing, buddy?
Well, I know your back has been hurting you.
That's an understatement, yeah.
Well, my neck is hurting me. So, if we put both of our bodies together, we'd be about a 60, 65-year-old man.
85.
85. It's that bad?
It's bad.
Well, it's not as bad as the underwear that's creaking up my ass right now, but nevertheless.
You don't like that?
No, I do not.
Really?
No, I really don't.
Gets
I
a little
don't.
musty?
No, because it gets so
Humid?
hot in our
Chafing?
studio. Well, I don't know.
Little cornstarch? No.
No cornstarch. Why would I put cornstarch in my butt?
Baby powder? Whatever.
I don't use baby powder. My brother likes
man
to
powder. I'm sorry, man powder.
Well, my brother likes to use baby powder. He for some reason every time he goes shopping to not Genevieve's. What do they call it now? CVS or Eckerd's.
Did
Remember
you really
that?
go Genevieve's?
Remember Genevieve's?
Oh my God, where was that? Right next to Crazy Eddie's?
Long John Silver's.
Oh my God. yeah, we just went 85, 65 right
Yeah,
there.
well, anyways, I don't like powder because I don't like the way it smells, and especially when all that white stuff coming out of your pants. It's no fun. It's no good.
Okay.
Oh, you just said powder, so I'm telling you, I won't use powder.
I said powder. You went on the rant.
I'm just telling you I wouldn't use powder.
Baby powder.
I don't use baby powder.
That's fine.
They have these new underwears now. Did you ever see the men's underwear that they made? They
Besides
have
the ones I wear. No.
It's 3 layers. Well, and I don't want to really talk about it on the show, but you could actually stick your thing in 2 different layers where it's not sticking to your leg. Did you ever see that? I have to show you that when we go to break. It's actually very, very interesting. I have a friend
Who sold you your underwear? Magic Mike?
Well, nobody sold me my underwear. It's just underwear. You go online. You buy them online.
There's a lot of crazy things you can find online.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not crazy. It actually feels good. It takes away the sticking.
So anyway.
Wow.
I'm sure our Florida correspondent wants to weigh in on this before I get basically annihilated right now, which I know it's coming.
Well, how are you, Jeff? How are you today?
I got nothing to say to Anthony Andriozzi. I am beyond disgusted with how I just feel lied to. I just feel lied to. That's what it is.
Why? Why do you feel lied to?
Matt Brown, really? Matt Brown got knocked out so fast. I wasn't even sure he even had a fight that night.
Unfortunately, he's not the only one who got knocked out really fast that night. Okay? We could always spin this, Jeff. Jeff, we could always spin this. We could think of it as, this is me trying to help you to stop gambling by calling it aversion therapy. The more money you lose the urge to gamble. Maybe that was really the motive behind all this.
No, because I just go on the chase. I'm like, oh man, I'm down. I got to double down next time to get back. Like I just go, and honestly,
my DraftKings stock. Thank you. By the way, went up a couple points today.
Very honestly, I'm going to be listening so closely on who you think is going to win the McGregor-Anderson Silver fight.
If it happens,
so I can
if it happens,
the opposite person.
If it happens, but we'll get into that.
I think it's going to happen. I do.
You want to know something? Since we got Jeff on the phone, we might as well open up with that.
You want to talk about the Conor McGregor and
we were going to talk about that anyway.
Anderson Silver fight?
Yes. So I guess everything is official according to everybody's Twitter handles.
Yes, it's
and
official.
That's the only thing that's official is that it's through Twitter. Somebody
there was
threw it
no
out
announcement.
there.
Yeah.
No, somebody threw out the challenge, and now it's accepted. Where I believe the fight's supposed to be at 176 pounds. Is
75
what was,
pounds. Yeah, that's right.
something like that. That's what was ultimately proposed between the two parties. Now, nothing obviously is official, but we all know how this is as a business. Somebody's going to try to make money out of this, and somebody's going to try to make this happen. Obviously, it's going to be another circus, and
it's already a circus.
I mean, Conor McGregor is going to make
lots and lots of money,
hell of a lot more money than Anderson Silva was.
And you were right; it's 176 pounds.
176 pounds, because considering it's not 170, that extra pound to go over 170, please
175.
Really, we might as well just go old school Japanese, tournament rules of just open weight at this point. So. That's what the rumor is, and I'm going to call it a rumor until it's official, which, what would you say? Probably 4th of July, they'll probably announce it for Fight Island or something?
Yeah, I think probably a month from now they're going to announce it, and it's going to probably be a month after that. It'll be in August.
And here's the thing. It's probably going to be a situation where not just the Anderson Silva thing, but other people are going to try to weigh in on this, like the Masvidal or the Usman. We heard these names come up before this.
But wouldn't that piss you off right now if you were Usman or Masvidal right now? They're champions. I know Masvidal isn't a champion. That belt is ridiculous.
I have a problem with the super fight format right now out of everything, just because I think it takes value when you're dealing with these crossover weight classes and champions coming over from another and this guy coming over from there. You're devaluing the ranking system that you already have and devaluing the weight class. That's why when people say people are holding up the weight classes, I think Stipe was supposedly accused of holding up the heavyweights.
Which is ridiculous.
That's a ridiculous thing to say. But are you really holding it up because he doesn't want to deal with the corona? Or are you holding it up because now the heavyweight champ is going to go into the lightweight? The light heavyweight. The lightweight's going to go against the middleweight. That holds up the whole thing. So I'm just wondering, now out of all of these scenarios, and let's ask Jeff, which fight are you more inclined to want to watch? McGregor go against Anderson Silva, if that seems more realistic than Conor McGregor. What was it? McGregor versus Masvidal, I think, was another one that was on the table.
Yes.
So, Jeff, in your opinion, would you rather see Masvidal McGregor or McGregor Silva?
Just for me personally, I'd rather see McGregor Silva. Like, I understand what you're saying as far as like a devaluing maybe some of the belts and like the weight classes that they have. But honestly, that's never been a problem in boxing. They've always fought at there's always been big fights at catch weights for, you know, not championship belts or whatever, just because people wanted to see those two people fight. And I think it does serve the sport in a way to get two giant, great fighters and big personalities in there on their own just for the fight, even if it does delay some of the ranking matches.
I mean, I think I agree with some of the points that you're making. I do agree, and you're making some really good points. Because when you're dealing with Anderson Silva, is Anderson Silva really going to be making a middleweight title run? Probably not. Is McGregor going to be making a title run in whatever the hell weight class he decides to flip a coin and go in this week?
It seems like he likes to go in one, the other, and the other.
And he has that flexibility to do that when you're in there. You know, he could actually fluctuate between 3 or 4 weight classes, because now the more weight classes, the slower
we were even hearing that he wanted to move up to 185, the light midweights.
And he'll get...
the middleweight.
And he'll get ripped in half like a freaking, ragdoll.
But he came out and said that he would fight in the middleweight division. And Tyrone Woodley has come out and said that he wants to fight Conor McGregor. And the reason why Tyrone Woodley has not fought in the last couple of months, really almost a year since he lost against Usman, is because he's been in depression. He's been in a depression after he lost that fight. He hasn't fought in a while. If you look at Tyrone Woodley right now, that's a long time. That was over a year ago. And I understand this whole Anderson Silva, and I know everybody's trying to make money off this, and Anderson Silva wants to make that one big money-making fight. Anderson Silva is not the same Anderson Silva we remember, the dominant Anderson Silva that we saw for 8 years where he didn't lose a fight, and he was the most dominant force in the UFC. He was the guy that the UFC built around for 8 years after the Randy Couture's, the Chuck Liddells, the Tito Ortiz, everybody just retired. It was done. And then all of a sudden, Anderson Silva lost those 2 fights against Chris Weidman, and his career was practically over. He's had a couple of fights. He's won a couple of fights. He's lost a couple of fights. He is not the same Spider we remember. So, again, do I like this fight? I think this is a terrible fight. It's not a fight that I'm going to want to buy. I understand it's Anderson Silva. I understand he's a big name, and everybody loves Anderson Silva, and he's going to be he's a big draw. He's been a big draw since he's come to the UFC from Pride. So we understand what Anderson Silva brings to the table, but we also understand what Conor McGregor brings to the table. Why isn't Conor McGregor fighting Masvidal? Or why is he fighting Usman or Tyrone Woodley? Guys that are around his age where... I mean, obviously, Tyrone Woodley isn't. He's 36, 37 years old. He's the Anderson Silva age. But Anderson Silva is 40 years old against a 30-year-old man who's at the top of his, top of his fighting career. Why would the UFC want to see that? Now, if they think that's going to sell, if somehow Anderson Silva pulls off a win like this, it will be one of the biggest upsets in MMA history. But the chances of Anderson Silva beating Conor McGregor in a fight, in a 5-round fight, because that's what it's going to be, it's not happening. It's not. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why Dana White, the great Dana White, is going to accept this. And obviously he is, even though he hasn't done anything yet, no press reports, anything like that. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is what the UFC is trying to sell right now.
But here's the thing. Is it any, and in some situations, is this any more ridiculous than Dominic Cruz, after not fighting for 2 years, coming in and challenging for a title?
This is more ridiculous.
Is this any more ridiculous than, and we're going to get on this topic too, but it's a nice little segue, any more ridiculous than Jose Aldo coming off 2 losses and getting a title shot against Peter Yan for a vacated title, when there's 2 other contenders, up-and-coming talent, right there under your noses, and you're giving them the shaft? So is this any more ridiculous than that? It almost seems like right now, coming off of the transition from this COVID thing, and he's trying to piggyback off the success that ultimately, for as of right now, until something comes up in terms of being sick or any illness, God forbid, hopefully it doesn't, these last fight nights and pay-per-views, I would call them successful because they happened, and there was very limited, I would say, casualties in regards to sickness. So in that state, in returns, it was he's up in the ante is what he's doing. He came in kind of slow with some of these fights, and now he's trying to have the bigger draw, which he's going with the super fight thing. Obviously, the super fight thing.
I don't even think he's doing, Anthony, I don't even think he's doing a super fight. I think he wants every single one of his champions.
Well, that's what this would be considered.
Well, he wants every one of his champions. This is why you're hearing that Jose Aldo is the number 1 contender for that belt. And the reason why he's the number 1 contender, because he's a name. He wants names to be the champions of his belts.
But the problem with that is, and Jeff, I know you're there, and maybe you'll agree with us on this. The problem with recycling these names from the past, you're not taking care of the investment of the younger talent that's going to be carrying the sport for the next 10 years by giving them the exposure. So once again, you're pushing them away from the spotlight, so there's no connection to the outside world and the mainstream audience, and you're recycling these names off of the past. And you're basically going to just hurt the future.
Listen, I understand that as well, right? But it almost seems to, maybe I'm wrong in the way that I'm perceiving how this conversation is going, but
You're never wrong, Jeff. Just error list. That's okay.
No.
We established this last week.
Listen, buddy, you don't want to talk to anybody about being wrong. I've put in your picks. You have been way off.
Wait until you hear this. Hey, I got some more for tomorrow for you. For you, just so you know.
No, but, maybe I'm just kind of viewing it differently, but I never had a problem with boxers fighting at catchweight. Like Manny Pacquiao was like the catchweight king and would fight anybody, and people liked it because they wanted to see those kinds of fights. I don't mind seeing those kinds of things if it's what people want to watch. I think maybe you guys are just too much of the purist kind of way. Maybe not. I don't know. But you guys want to just keep advancing guys up the ladder, making it go up and down. Sometimes people just want to see fights just because it would be, how everyone goes, oh, Roy Jones was the pound for pound king. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe if he had fought a couple of other guys out of his weight class and moved up or down, and sometimes people just want to see 2 individuals in different weight classes go after it.
I agree. Jeff, I agree with everything that you're saying right now, but I also look at what the UFC is putting out there, and the product that they're putting out there is not selling. It's not selling. I don't care what anybody says about this whole Justin Gaethje and the fact that he won the fight and by the way,
Justin Gaethje, that was another one.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. I will tell you something, and I want to give a shout out to the fan that called up the show 2 weeks ago, and we let him speak for an hour, and then we tried to look him up after the show, and the crap that he was telling us that he fights out of, what's the gym that he fights out of?
First off, It was
No, I have to say this.
He said that he fought out of AKA. He said that he was Khabib's teammate.
Yes. And we did our research and we asked around, and nobody's ever heard of you. And you called the show. You spoke for about an hour. Oh, this, my brother, blah, blah, blah. I know Justin Gagey. I trained with him. I wrestled with him. Blah, 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 blah. If you're listening to the show, you can kiss my ass. How's that sound? Because for the fact that you called the show and we kept you on an extra hour to yap your big damn mouth, and you were yapping and yapping and yapping about who you are and what you are, and we don't know what the hell we're talking about. How about you give us your real name and call this show and act like a normal person instead of telling us that you know Khabib and we shouldn't be talking about Khabib and we weren't putting down Khabib, first of all. And now that we are putting down Khabib, at least we have the background, the name to talk about him. You do not, as far as I'm concerned. So please, call this show and have your own thoughts to what we're saying right now about Khabib, because Khabib is a chicken, okay? A chicken. And he has been a chicken since the day Ferguson was announced that he was going to fight him again.
All right. First off,
can I just say something about that guy? First of all, you're right in everything you just said about him, but I'll still bet you $50 he picks winners than Andrews.
Say that one more time. You were breaking up.
I said, say whatever you want about that dude, but I'll bet you $50 he can pick better winners than Anthony Andriosi can.
I'll tell you one thing, though, and I could guarantee you this, and you could bet on this. If he or anybody else calls up saying that there's somebody that they're not, and they're doing it for
we're hanging up the phone.
Fame, they're not going to stay on that long. You know, maybe it's not going to happen. Because I will say this, and the only thing I will give that person credit for is they got one over on us.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, you got one over on us. But at the same time, you know, I really pleased with this.
He's the first person that got me my first UFC fight. We looked that up too, buddy.
It's ridiculous.
We looked that up too, buddy. We never even heard of you. And you're yapping your mouth.
Here's the thing, and I'm sorry, I never say this to you. I never, ever, ever do, and I probably never, ever will. We're going to stop this conversation right now because we already wasted enough time on the schmuck. We're not doing it again. Not at all.
It just upsets me that he kept us on for an hour more than we need to be on.
Now he's getting extra time.
Oh, whatever.
I mean, everything upsets you, though, Errol. Jesus, you're so sensitive about everything. Just move on from it.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying Khabib is a chicken. I understand his father is sick. Shout out to Khabib and his family. Hopefully his father's okay. He was in a coma about a week ago. Hopefully he's doing better. And I haven't heard anything so far in the last couple of weeks. The last week and a half. So hopefully he's doing better. But
in all honesty, I could if the Khabib fight happens and all that, who the hell cares? I'm over that. Now we got other stuff coming up. Now we got more exciting things coming up.
What, Conor and Anderson Silva?
No. You have Amanda Nunes fighting Felice Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Felice Spencer, a really good fighter out of Canada. That's coming up. That's a nice fight coming up. You have, unfortunately, you got Aljamain Sterling going against Sandhagen.
When are we getting
June
him
6th.
on the show? He's a Long Island native, and he should be on the show.
He'll come on the show. I'm sure he will. But here's the thing with that fight. That fight, unfortunately, you got two guys fighting June 6th, two top 5 contenders for that title that Peter Yan is fighting Jose Aldo for. Peter Yan, my hat's off to you. Great. I'm happy you got the fight and such. Unfortunately, you have to waste the time dealing with Jose Aldo. Obviously, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't beat Jose Aldo.
Jose Aldo hasn't been a good fighter
Jose
for a
Aldo
while.
does not deserve that title fight. I'm sorry. The last 2 fights he lost were title contender bouts that he ultimately ended up losing, and those 2 people that won ended up getting title fights.
So what you're saying is I'm going to end up betting heavy on Jose Aldo because you don't think he can win.
You want to know something? The money is probably going to be so bad on that. If you wanted to bet a couple of bucks on that puppy and just see how it goes,
I'm not even talking about the money being so bad. I'm picking fights so terribly. I'm probably going to win outright on that fight.
Okay. Go ahead.
You picked Matt Brown. That is still sleeping after eating that punch.
Oh, listen, man. Matt Brown always has a puncher's chance. Still, if he has another fight coming up, I'll still give him a puncher's chance. Still.
Terrible. Anyways, I got better things. I wanted to call and just let you know, Anthony, I've given up on you. No longer do I think you're an expert.
You might want to take the two. You might want to take the two underdogs tomorrow. You might want to take the two underdogs tomorrow.
You have flushed your credibility with me.
You may want to take the two underdogs tomorrow. You may want to take the two underdogs tomorrow. I'm just saying.
You know what's funny? I was talking to Jeff before you get off the phone. He said, Anthony, we were sitting over here before the show, and he was telling me, are you playing the stock market? And I was like, and he's showing me the stock of DraftKings, how it went up from $15 to $37. And I'm sitting there,
that's great growth in a month.
And he's sitting there and he's telling me all this stuff. He's like, you got to play the stock market.
Jeff, that's what you need to do.
He's a betting man.
You need to go to the stock market. Forget about what I'm talking about with the picks. Just take the stock market, okay? It went up $20 in like a month. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but if people you had to have owned I have not a lot, but a few stocks. But you had to have owned DraftKings early to get in on that, because I think once everything comes back, things go back to normal.
But here's the thing: think about it. Right now it's $37. No. Right now it's $37, and nobody's betting anything. Can you imagine what that's going to raise to when as soon as football starts?
It'll actually go down, Anthony.
It'll go up.
No, but they've
Jeff's
been drawing in.
It'll go up.
I'm a Kings customer as well, but I can tell you that they've definitely been drawing people in because they've been running. Listen, think of it what you will, but they've been running virtual, Madden games and they've
simulated
been,
games,
doing other things,
and people have been doing it.
Well, sports is coming back, so we're
the
happy.
only game in town. They've been killing it, so that's why their price has gone to something like that. But once everything gets back to normal, I think that stock is going to go down.
I do too, and I listen. Sports is coming back. No, I'm not betting
on if it's going to go up.
Do
you want to bet?
You want to bet? What do you want to bet?
I'll bet you $50.
That's it.
I'll bet you $50 the stock goes down. When sports starts again, it will go down.
How much?
He's right.
How much?
$50. I'm
go
betting
down
you
$50.
No, I'm betting you $50 that it's going to go down from $37.
Okay, yeah, but what? Like 25 cents don't count.
No, a lot more than that.
Like how much does it have to go down?
About $10.
Well, pick a number that it has to go down to. Right, exactly.
Like a margin? $10.
$10.
$10 drop.
So
$10
it's going to go
drop.
to 27.
Yeah, it's going to drop.
Or whatever it becomes.
Yeah, $10.
By what date? Now you got to pick a date. It'll be 27 by what?
When sports starts.
You want to say the beginning of football? Just because then you'll have 3 sports going at the same time.
Let's say October or November. Yeah.
October 1st.
October 30th.
Why you got to start shit, man?
October 30th.
This was real simple.
No, it is simple. I'm telling you, October 30th. I'm going to
negotiation. Everything's a negotiation. This is good. Why don't you split the difference and just say October 15th?
October 15th. There.
All right.
$50.
Whatever.
$50 bet.
That's fine.
All right, there you go.
So we're good for $100. Okay.
$100.
Be compromised, gentlemen. It works. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There you go. I'll give you the 15 for 100. There we go. That's a good job.
Jeff is the middleman.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't want to cut. I just want to hear you two stop yelling about the whole thing because, quite honestly, we got bigger fish to fry. You got idiots pretending to be people. You got Anthony Andriosi who can't make the goddamn pick to save his goddamn life. It's just, there's so many things going on right now that it's out of control.
Oh, man.
He calls himself an expert. What the hell is going on?
Oh, man. Thank you, Jeff, for calling the show.
Did he get one fight right? Did he pick one fight right?
Actually, I did, damn it.
He
one.
got one.
I got one.
He got one.
1 out of 5. I got one. So there.
Think about that. You're batting 200. Like, is that even?
No. I'm actually 5 for 10. Because the week before that, when you got pissed off, I only lost by 1 fight. It was the upset. So when you look at it from that standpoint, I'm like 500 right now.
Great. And some guy can go 4 for 4 one day, and you're batting 1,000. But when the next day shows up and you go 0 for 4, you're still a crappy hitter. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is.
Oh,
that's what it is. Even the sun shines on a dog's ass once in a while. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got lucky.
saying.
You went 4 for 5. Terrific. You've also been shoving it down everyone's throat. Justin Gaethje doesn't stand a chance. Dude,
Yep.
I didn't shove it down everybody's throat, just yours.
Then last time, Matt Brown. You want a guy that's going to be amazing too. Matt Brown, sleeping.
I love how he's getting stuck on Matt Brown when there's 3 other people that lost.
Well, because he was upset about Matt Brown because you kept saying there's no way Matt Brown's going to lose that fight.
And Matt Brown would have
fought
won,
a guy
he
that
still would have
never
got pissed
lost
off by the other 3.
He was upset that the guy that he was fighting never lost, and he said that. Don't you think this is a guy that knocked out every single one of his fighters?
Actually, you know what's really crazy? The guy that knocked out Matt Brown. Do you know who he was a teammate with?
Who?
The kid that called.
No, I'm sorry.
Look at that. His brother.
Khabib. Yeah.
He got knocked out
Khabib's,
by his brother. Don't say the K
Khabib's
word.
team.
Can we get through tonight without the K word, please?
Thanks, Jeff, for calling the show, man.
Guys, Errol, I hope you have a good weekend.
Well, I'm not betting on his pick, so don't worry about that.
Well, yeah, maybe I should start going off of your picks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're the expert here.
We'll see.
That kills me to say that. Like a piece of me died inside saying that, but maybe you are the expert.
Well, maybe I am. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll make the picks, but maybe we'll do the picks tonight.
We'll do the picks tonight.
We'll do the picks tonight, and we'll see who.
And I'm sure that Jeff will call and
aces. We'll see who aces it. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
I mean, you're going to be ahead of Anthony. That's just the question.
My God. Jeff, thank you for calling, man.
All right, boys.
Oh, man. There you go. Jeff from Tampa. Before we go to break, because we're about to go to break, I do want to finish up this conversation because the whole Conor McGregor and Anderson Silva situation really, it did upset me. I sent you a text the other day. Did you hear about this? And you were like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this. To me, Anderson Silva is a washed up champion. He is. He's a washed up champion. He's one of the greatest.
He's not a champion anymore.
But I still think he's a champion because I've always looked up to Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva has been, to me, one of the top 3 UFC fighters of all time. He was that dominant. 8 years of dominance. I mean, how many guys could you say in the UFC dominated the UFC for 8 years? There's not many of them. I mean, Matt Hughes, GSP. I mean, there was not a lot of dominance from the UFC. I mean, a lot of these fighters go on. John Jones.
Well, the other advantage that, and I mean, it's not an advantage. It just so happens just the way it went. Anderson Silva also came from a successful career from Pride, so he carried it over. Now you don't see a lot of carryovers because PFL is doing really well. Nobody's leaving that chance for $1 million paycheck. It's not happening. Bellator, they don't have the pay-per-view money unless people are going from UFC to Bellator. You don't see a lot of people going from Bellator to UFC. If anything, there's usually a one-way only street on that one. That is, hopefully it works out without doing pay-per-views, which I don't understand that concept at all. They enjoy free TV a lot. So, I mean, Anderson Silva, you have to remember, Anderson Silva, until Weidman beat him, the only loss he had was the very unusual flying knee bar or flying heel hook by Rowan Chonin. And that was probably another 2 years even before he made his debut in the UFC.
Yeah, in Pride. And that was, and when you look at fighters like Anderson Silva that came from Pride.
Silva, but here's the thing, Anderson Silva came over to UFC. It wasn't one of the contracts that UFC bought from the acquisition of Pride. He came over, his contract was up, and he came over. So that meant that Pride was still going on when he was there. So the fact that the 2 years, so now we're looking at a decade. Not necessarily 8 years, but you're looking at more closer to a decade.
Well, he was the most dominant fighter. He's one of the top 3 UFC fighters of all time. And I don't care what anybody says, he was. And he's a great champion. In my eyes, he's still champion in my eyes. Because when you look at him, he was the Michael Jordan of the UFC. That's the guy. Him or Coleman, I mean, those are the guys that I would say they were the Michael Jordan of the mixed martial arts world, the UFC. That's how dominant Anderson Silva was in the UFC. He didn't lose a fight in almost 9 years. It was incredible.
And to his credit, the talent was a lot deeper. The
talent, much better.
The
much
talent
better.
pools back then were so much deeper.
Look at him. How many people
Rich
he beat?
Franklin 2 times. I mean, he made his. I mean, with all respect to Rich, he is a Hall of Famer. I'm surprised the guy's nose is anywhere even close to the center of his face.
It was detached after the fight.
You remember how bad that was?
Yes,
that was
it was
insane.
Bad. Yeah.
It was a right angle, for crying out loud. When both your nostrils are making a left turn, we got an issue.
That's what Jeff wants to do to you for all the picks that you had last week.
Hey, it happens. Can't please everybody.
Well, you could please one person. She's at home.
So don't get my wife involved in this, man. This is a family show. Anyway, what the hell did I say?
I lost him.
You're a schmuck, man. No, if you remember, he had his UFC debut on a UFC Fight Night on Spike against. He knocked out Lieben.
I remember that Chris Lieben. Yeah.
No, and then from Lieben, where was I think he went right up the ranks to Franklin. It didn't take that long. Then he was dealing with Franklin. He dealt with. He went through everybody. Who the hell didn't he go through?
He fought everybody.
Then he was going against what? Forrest Griffin.
Forrest
Was
Griffin,
going.
yeah.
The only thing that came close that one time, if you remember, was the fight that he had with Chael Sonnen.
Yes, because he was on
And
steroids.
Who, Chael Sonnen?
Chael Sonnen got caught with steroids after the fight. Yes.
No. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about because he fought him twice.
Yes.
I'm talking about the one where Sonnen was beating him, and then
Yeah,
I
it was
think
the
there was
steroids.
5 seconds left.
That was the steroid, and he got tapped out.
Man, everybody's on steroids.
And he got tapped away. Got tapped out.
Everybody's on steroids.
No, but I'm saying he got caught with
Speedy's on
steroids.
steroids.
I don't know
Anyway.
about that. Look how skinny he is.
Hey, he's using cutting agents. He's very lean. He's going for the 6-pack.
Are we talking about the same Speedy?
Yeah.
The producer Speedy Petey, him?
Of course.
You're out of your mind if you think he took any kind of steroid.
Yo, he's very vascular.
Oh, no,
Anyway.
he's vascular, all right.
But if you,
It's 100 pounds soaking wet.
and if he didn't get the freaking triangle on in the last 5 seconds, you would have had a new champion right there.
To me, Chael Sonnen was on steroids, and Anderson Silva, and it did come out after that fight. And I remember Anderson Silva tapped him out with the last, I think it was like 9 seconds.
It's like 9-5.
Yes.
That triangle.
Yes.
He just got him.
And he tapped him out, and Chael Sonnen would have won that fight. He absolutely would have won that fight.
He won all the rounds.
Yeah. And then it came out he was taking something. And he got suspended for almost 9 months, 10 months after that. And then Anderson Silva, after that fight, Anderson Silva's career started to tip. And after that fight, because then people started to believe they could beat him. He wasn't unstoppable. He wasn't immortal. Like everybody thought he was going to be.
At the same time, he was getting very comfortable because it's even as a champion at some point, and I think at one point John Jones was at this
at that level. Yes.
Who else do I have to beat? It's what are we doing here? Should I retire? This, that. It changes psychologically. It just changes everything. So it kills your work ethic and everything. Especially with that Chael Sonnen fight, if anybody ever is interested to see exactly what the hell we're talking about, I believe the documentary is called Like Water. It's actually specifically about McGregor. I'm not McGregor, listen to me. Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva, yes.
And specifically about Anderson Silva going from pissing off Dana White, running around a ring, basically upsetting and embarrassing himself going into that fight where he won with 9 seconds left. It's a very good documentary.
Yeah, there was also a documentary of Tito Ortiz wanting to fight Dana White, and Dana White saying,
"Oh, the bad blood."
Oh, yeah,
the bad blood.
Yeah, which was ridiculous.
That was part of the contract negotiation, and then Dana.
He backed out. He backed out.
Who backed out?
Oh, of course, Dana White backed out.
No.
Dana White backed out.
Tito Ortiz publicized it so much that it was a sparring session that never happened. That's what it was. It was a sparring session.
Dana White is the biggest.
Oh, we're not doing that now.
A-hole.
No. We got stuff.
Yeah. He's the biggest a-hole that wants to be the center of attention with everything that he does, not only in mixed martial arts in the UFC, but everything else he puts his hands on. It's always been like that. It annoys the hell out of me. It really does.
Not doing that one.
Maybe Ariel Helwani could sit on his lap and ask him what he wants for Christmas.
See, you know what's funny? Okay, you have to go that route. I'm trying to calm you down from the Dana White.
But it's true.
And then
it's true.
You have to throw the guy I hate the most in there to try to egg me in there.
Well, maybe he's sitting on Dana White's lap asking him for Christmas presents because that's what he gets. He gets everything he wants, Ariel Helwani. So how about that? To me, the product that he is putting out here is garbage. Anderson Silva versus Conor McGregor, with all the fighters that you have right now, all the good young fighters that you have, that you believe you have, by the way. You believe you have great young fighters.
There's good fights tomorrow.
Who?
There's a couple of nice fights tomorrow.
Who?
What, Mackenzie Dern and Hannah Cipher?
Oh,
that's a good fight.
Great fight.
It's a good fight.
I bet you that's a knockout in the first round.
By who?
I don't know. I'll tell you when we do our picks after the show.
Teaser. Everybody teaser.
Yes.
The suspense.
Before the show is over.
Mr. What are you? Mr. Gratuitous? What was it?
That's what I am.
Errol Gratuitous Marks. Is that what you were last week?
Give me the gratuity. Yeah. I need the gratuity.
That's what it was.
That's what I'm getting $50 for. No, gratitude. I am
Gratitude.
Mr.
That's
Gratitude.
what it was.
Yes, I'm Mr. Gratitude.
Mr. Gratitude.
Yes. If
Okay.
everybody wants it, you come to Team Gratitude. That's what it is.
No, everybody could come to Team Panda
No.
if everybody remembers.
It's not Team Panda.
It's Team Panda.
No, that wasn't what
Team
you called
Panda.
yourself. That's not what you called
I
yourself.
said that the panda was my power animal. That was the difference.
Well, I think people should join Mr. Gratitude because the gratitude that you're going to get for joining my team will always be better than joining a furry little animal.
Unfortunately.
Well, a furry animal.
Furry little animal. What the hell? What the hell National Geographic you've been looking at?
I don't know. Pandas aren't that big, by the way. They really are not. From all the bears, you think pandas are big? How about black bear or
Can we
a
stay
polar
on
bear?
topic here?
But you just said panda bears aren't
Can we
big.
stay on topic?
But
for
you
Christ's
just told
sakes?
me, have you watched National Geographic?
Dude, first you started with your drawers, okay, with pockets.
Well, yes.
Now
my underwear is creeping on my ass as we speak right now.
He has a GoFundMe page, people.
No, I do not.
It's a
No, I do
DVD
not.
Haynes Fruit of the Loom sponsored GoFundMe page to help Errol with his little problem with,
What, my underwear?
with airing out his shizzle over here.
Yeah, well,
So anyway.
let me tell you something. I should have just came in here practically naked. I don't think you would be able to see it under the table. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we'll get more into Saturday's fights. We will get into some of the upcoming fights that are going to be talked about in the next couple of weeks. Dana White, Ariel Helwani, and much, much more. Remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. At the 7 p.m. mark, we're going to have Dee Hamaguchi, who is an ex-boxer, professional boxer, and she now is training for MMA, 50 years old, here on the best MMA show in America, Caged in MMA, with Anthony Anderosi and Mr. Errol Marks. Mr. Gratitude, by the way.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP. We help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
Right there, hold on, right there. Boom, I faked him. Oh, whoa, that was, whoa. I'm back.
But Mama Babo, how you say his name?
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light.
Fighting out of the red corner.
I completely dominated that fifth round. That fifth round want me to fight.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's time!
The #1 MMA show in America. Caged in MMA.
And we are back. As you guys know, we are live every other Friday. This is Caged in MMA. I'm your host, Errol Marks. My co-host, Mr. Anthony Andorosi. And as you know, you can call the show at 631-965-4990. Before we get into some of the topics that we're going to get into, and we are going to have our special guest in about 10 minutes, Dee Hamaguchi, who's going to be joining us all the way from California. Before we do that, I want everybody to hear what Dana White has to say about Khabib and Justin Gaethje and when they're expected to fight this coming year.
Khabib versus Justin in the summer on Fight Island. Any fights involving fighters who live outside of the United States are expected to take place on Fight Island. Vicente Luque, fresh off his victory over Nico Price, would like to take on Jeff Neal next. Luque is ranked number 13, but Neal's ranked number 11, so he's looking to break into the top 10 by taking on someone ranked above him. He's won 7 in a row, most recently versus Mike Perry in December. Before that, he beat Nico Price and Bilal Muhammad. Sarah Morris is the biggest underdog on the card on Wednesday versus Sijara Eubanks. She's a 3-1 underdog. Other than that, the lines are fairly even.
By the way, this is UFC and MMA news for you guys.
Out of everyone taking the virus test, it was the commentator, Brendan Fitzgerald, who might have taken it the best.
That stuff hurts, by the way. And you guys aren't seeing this. That stuff hurts.
Sheesh. You can tell him I said it. So easy. All right.
All right. Well, that was MMA news. I was going to play the whole thing, but I thought it was going to be Dana White speaking and talking about the upcoming fight of Khabib and Justin Gaethje, and I'm hearing that it will be probably sometime at the end of August when that fight will take place, probably at Fight Island, but I'm not going to really get into it until that really happens. Before we go to Dee Hamaguchi, and I'm looking forward for the interview, I do want to get into this particular story. John Jones on social media reached out to Dana White, and he believes he should be earning Deontay Wilder money. And I And Dana White responds to this, and I will let everybody, I'll read off a little bit what Dana White said. Jones took to Twitter account to claim the UFC wasn't willing to pay him more for the bout of Ngannou. White said this was due to Jones asking for an absurd amount of money in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. Jones denied this and claimed he never had asking price. Speaking to the reporters during the media scrum, White said he was amused by Jones's claim via MMA fighting. It's fun working out in the gym in the morning and seeing tweets from John Jones saying, "I'm lying," White said in response. We have text messages with John Jones. It's not like I can't prove what I'm saying or it's true. We have text messaging. I don't know why they spell it. Text messaging from him out by, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put a text message out in the press. Now, John Jones is saying that he wants Deontay Wilder money. And I agree that he is the best fighter right now in the UFC. He's the big prize fighter in the UFC besides Conor McGregor. I do believe that if John Jones can stay out of trouble, John Jones deserves that kind of money. He really does. I don't know what he thinks he's going to get, like $20 million or $30 million. That's not going to happen. But he should be making about $5, $6, $7, $8 million every single fight, especially if he's the champion. He's really an undefeated fighter. So I am very surprised. And Dana White, who is supposed to protect his fighters, for him to come out and talk to the press like this and kind of throw John Jones under the bus because he claims that John Jones reached out on Twitter and said that he deserves Deontay. I've looked on John Jones's Twitter. He said nothing of a sort. Now, maybe Dana White's trying to stir something up or trying to bring something up that he can sell to the public where it's going to cause a stir between him and John Jones because everybody knows John Jones is always the center of attention. If he's not getting in trouble with drugs or driving under the influence, he seems to say things that he shouldn't be saying outside the octagon.
I mean, basically what we're looking at here, it's a he said type situation. You got Dana White saying he never said it, this conversation never happened, and quite frankly, with John Jones's record, his credibility based off of his stupid antics, it's always going to have some doubt whether he's telling the truth or not, regardless of what the hell he's talking about. Now, in regards to him wanting Wilder money, whether it's Wilder money, Fury money, whatever the hell it is.
He's not making $30 million.
Nobody, let's be real. The top fighters in the UFC should be getting paid more than they are. It's not a fight-by-fight basis. Like in most cases with boxing, sometimes there's a fight-by-fight. We signed to fight for this amount. Sometimes these guys, based off their contracts, get stuck in a set amount of how much their base is and such. I guarantee you that John Jones, if he didn't have some of these antics, him being more commercially viable without all these antics would probably give him more of a negotiating state like campaign to get more money.
Anthony, doesn't it bother you that this is your best fighter? This is the guy, the prize fighter that you have. He's been the most dominant fighter really since Anderson Silva. If you really want to compare his skill to the dominance that John Jones has really competed with, the guy is undefeated. He the one fight that he lost, he was disqualified. He is undefeated.
Right.
Now, this guy's net worth, I'm looking up his net worth right now. He's only worth $10 million. This is the greatest fighter in UFC history, some people say. And he's only worth $10 million to Conor McGregor, who's worth over $100 and some odd million. Now, yes, he fought Floyd Mayweather, and that's where he made his tons and tons of money. But if
McGregor probably brings in
$3-4 million a fight.
McGregor brings in more money. He brings in more of a gate. He brings in more ticket sales. He brings in more pay-per-view buys. He brings in more. So if people want to say that, is that the reason why you're worth more money? Well, it's kind of hard to say that it's not. Let's be real. If you're bringing in more money, shouldn't you technically make more? I mean, is that an argument that we can make?
Conor McGregor's worth $110 million.
Yes, he is.
I'm
surprised it's not more.
He's worth $110 million.
So
he is worth $100 more million than, to me, the greatest MMA fighter of all time. That's what you're saying. You're talking about. I don't care about selling and all that other stuff. You're talking.
Though. It's
John
business.
Jones. John Jones is one of the biggest selling guys that they have right now for the organization. Are you talking about the two biggest selling points that they have is Conor McGregor and John Jones? Why is Conor making more money than John Jones is every single fight?
I personally think McGregor brings in more money internationally than John Jones does.
But that has nothing to do with when you're going when you're negotiating a deal.
Yes.
And I am not Dana White. I'm not an owner of a mixed martial arts organization. Mm-hmm. When you try to compare and contrast your two big drives and your draws, those two guys, Conor McGregor and John Jones, I guarantee you John Jones is not even the second highest paid fighter in the UFC. Not even a second. So you're telling me that John Jones, who is your best fighter, hands down, your best fighter, and he's a big draw. He's a huge draw. He's only making $1 million a fight? And this guy, Conor McGregor, is making $3, $4, $5 million a fight? That is a crock of you-know-what.
Once again.
It's a crock.
How much money is McGregor bringing in opposed to John Jones?
The sales are the same. Their sales are the same.
They're not the same.
You're looking at pay-per-views. I guarantee you.
Total amount of money for
pay-per-views. If I find the pay-per-views, I'm going to look this up.
Okay.
After we get off the phone with Dee Hamaguchi, after our interview, I'm going to look while we're interviewing.
What would you say McGregor's biggest fight was? What would you say John Jones's biggest fight was in regards
Daniel
to...
Cormier.
Okay. The first one?
I don't know. Daniel Cormier. I'll look at both of them.
All right. Look at both of those and compare that to, would you say, Conor and Khabib, and also McGregor Aldo.
Okay.
Go 2-2.
We'll look at that.
I almost guarantee.
Okay.
Okay, Jeff, don't start. I hear him saying it on I hear it. It's ringing.
Well,
Like
Jeff's
he's
not
like,
here.
I'm not,
so
but no, but he's going to say
here.
it anyway. Anyway,
I'm going to look this up.
I can almost guarantee you McGregor's two fights brought in a hell of a lot more than the total of the other two fights.
Well, I'll make a bet with you, and I'll tell you they're almost very similar as far as pay-per-view, and that's what we're going to look at.
I would say 25% more. Would you say that's drastic enough?
I would say maybe 5 to 10. That's it.
5 to 10% more.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
I say as much as 25% more.
That's a bet.
The two totals.
That's a bet. When we come back, because we have our special guest, so we have to go to break. Dee Hamaguchi, ex-professional boxer. She's been around for a very, very long time, an MMA fighter here on the greatest. I say this all the time, and I'll say it again. This is the greatest MMA show in America. Eat your heart out, Khabib fans. That's all I'm going to say. We'll be back after this.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org, a public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
Right there, hold on, right there. Boom, I faked him. Oh, whoa, that was, whoa. I'm back.
But Mamba Babo, how you say his name?
I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to drink a Coors Light.
Fighting out of the red corner.
I completely dominated that fifth round. That fifth round want me to fight.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's time!
The number one MMA show in America. Caged in MMA.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, this is Caged in MMA. I'm your host, Errol Marks. My co-host, Anthony Anderosi, and we did have Dee Hamaguchi on. I don't know what happened to her. I think she hung up. So we're actually going to call her up live and introduce her this way because maybe she didn't hear me or whatever happened. We're going to put her through in just 1 second. So just hold on 1 second.
Hello?
Dee, what do we lose you? I told you to hold on for 1 second.
Oh yeah, it went dead.
Oh, it went dead? Oh yeah, I told you to hold on. I always mute you before we put you on to live radio, but we have you on. As you guys know, we are now talking to professional boxer, judo fighter, Miss Dee Hamaguchi. What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Considering, all things considering.
So, how are you and your family doing with this pandemic?
Well, I'm by myself here in Los Angeles. Most of my family's up in Canada. Mm-hmm. We're not allowed to cross the border, but we stay in touch. So,
and I know Anthony right over here, sitting, my partner over here. He is he's in the Mixed Martial Arts Hall of Fame, right? Am I right?
Wow.
Mixed Martial Arts Hall of Fame. Am I saying it right? What is it? MMA Hall of
The
Fame?
United States
Oh my
Martial
God.
Arts Hall of Fame.
How about this? Just say the MMA Hall of Fame.
No,
Yes, because that's what it
not
is.
what it is.
Well, then write it down or something because it's annoying.
Why do I have to write it down? I tell you all the time.
Anyways,
just
Dee.
like I tell you my last name, you still butcher that. It's spelled right in front of you.
Am I pronouncing your name right, Dee?
It's spelled right
Hamaguchi?
there. Right there.
Hamaguchi, you got it right.
I got it right? Am I pronouncing it right?
Last name right here.
Yeah.
Last name. Look.
See, this guy, my
spelled
partner
it.
over
You
here.
made this.
This guy over here, he always complains that I pronounce
spelled it phonetically.
I pronounce his name completely wrong. But the truth is, it's
truth
the
is
American way.
You're telling
it
me
is the American way.
Wait a second. You're telling me
Yes, I
that
am telling
I don't know how to say my own last name and that you're right?
I think you're lost. I do. I think you're a little lost here, Anthony. I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to help you. Maybe you.
What planet do you come from?
Have you ever seen the movie Forever Young?
No.
Well, I'll have to tell you off air because we have a special
Is that like
guest.
a notebook thing?
No.
That's like a notebook thing, isn't it?
No, Mel Gibson. They put him
that
they
Hallmark
put him to sleep.
movie.
No.
Mel Gibson.
No.
They put him to sleep.
No. Dee, have you ever seen Forever Young?
I don't think I have.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm going to help you out. That's a good movie. You check it out.
Thank you.
Okay, I will.
Straight to video. Hello.
Anyways, Dee, you're in your 50s right now, and you had 3 fights. You were just telling me during the break that you had 3 fights last year, and you had an upcoming fight coming up. In the next month or the month after that. Why don't you tell the fans a little bit about yourself and your growth as a boxer, being that you're in your 50s right now and growing as a mixed martial artist boxer?
Well, the story starts back in the 90s in New York, and I had moved to Harlem. I was still doing judo and kind of getting my foot in the door with a little karate, Shotokan, Goju, and I got intrigued because I went to a fight tournament actually out on Long Island. Who was it? Lee, Ireland?
Mm-hmm. We're based out of Long Island. We're based out of Long Island. So I'm loving you already, D. I'm loving you already.
And I watched the tournament and I thought, gee, I don't think I can get with that because it was pretty much no contact, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know if I don't know if that's for me. And I thought about it for a bit, and then I was able to talk to a few of my friends who were martial artists that also did some boxing. So one day I just thought, let me ask them if they think I could box. And to me, it was a crazy idea, and I was fully ready for them to say, what are you kidding me? Are you nuts? No, don't box. But I asked the question, and I got completely the opposite response. They're like, yeah, you could box. Go to, and they sent me to Connie Bryant's gym on 125th and 5th. Connie Bryant was Iran Barkley's trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a small little stinky little gym, and that's where I started. I looked out and I met Saul Mambi. I don't know if you remember him, the late Saul Mambi.
Sal Mambi,
former world,
yeah.
Well, he was world champion. Anyways, he met me at that gym. He said, "Hey, you should go to Gleason's gym, and because there'll probably be, maybe a couple women there, what have you. I mean, women's boxing was definitely not a thing yet, right?
Right.
So,
Did we lose you, D? Did we lose her? We lost her again.
Errol, what's up with your phone, man?
It has nothing to do with my phone.
It's your
man.
phone.
Why is it my phone? Why is always my phone?
Because it's your
she's
fault.
based out of California, and first
They have
of all,
phones in California.
Well, so you're going to blame me for losing
They have
her?
phones in California.
You're a pain in
You
my
obviously don't
ass.
have service.
You're a pain in my ass. What are you talking about? You want to use your phone?
No.
You think your phone's better?
No.
All right.
I didn't say that. I just said your phone sucks.
My phone is fine. My phone
That's
is
the second
just fine.
time you dropped her.
Well, we lost her.
You dropped our. You cut off our guest the second time.
I didn't cut off
the
anybody.
Second time.
D, go on.
I'm sorry, D. Go right ahead.
hold on, you cut out there. I didn't hear you.
We're sorry. Go ahead. Keep going on with your story. I'm sorry. Yes, do you hear me? D, you hear me? Hello? Hello? D? Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We back?
Yes, we're back. Yes. So go ahead. Go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you fine. Go back to your story.
Okay, so in any case, back in 1993, I saw this little notice ripped out of the Daily News, stuck on the wall in Connie's gym, and it was the entry form for the Golden Gloves. So I'm looking at it, and then I asked one of the trainers, "Hey, can I enter that?" And he's like, "Oh, no. There's no woman in that." And I was like, and I thought to myself, well, it's an amateur tournament, so they're not supposed to discriminate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just saying this to myself. And I figured, I'm just going to enter. I just put my first initial,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know I'm a girl, right? And just send it in, see what happens. Then lo and behold, they send me back all this medical forms to fill out and whatnot. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll send all this back, And long story short, unfortunately, that was a year there was a crazy snowstorm and there was a big mail delay. So I never got my notification to show up for the medical exam. I didn't get that in time, so I missed it. And then when I called them up to try to reschedule or something, then obviously they knew I was female, and they were kind of like, oh, sorry, you missed the last one. So I was kind of out of luck for that year. But over the summer, I was able to meet with an attorney from the ACLU,
Mm-hmm.
and she went ahead and made phone calls, wrote some letters, and we never really pursued a lawsuit or anything like that. But I think it was just her making phone calls and whatnot. The next year, the Daily News just opened their doors to women. So that was in '94. We were allowed to enter for the '95 gloves, and then that was it. We were in the biggest amateur boxing tournament in the world, really. And there were TV cameras from all over the world there. I think everybody was just curious, like, what? Women's boxing? What's that going to be like? And, from there, the sport just grew. Well, the sport is a sport, but, women's participation grew, in the Olympic Games.
Right. Did you compete in the Olympics?
And now some of those female pros are actually getting TV time.
Did you compete in the Olympics?
Really what's needed.
Dee, did you compete in the Olympics? Dee, did you compete in the Olympics? Do you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay. Did you compete in the Olympics? Are we losing you? I don't know if it's your phone or my phone.
Just cutting in and out. Let me try to move to another spot and see if they can.
Did you ever compete in the Olympics?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think it was a huge thing for women's amateur boxing to make it into the Olympics. First, there was just three weight divisions, but now I think they're going to have all weight divisions. So that's huge because it gives young girls and young women a reason to train their rear end off, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to make that Olympic team. That's huge motivation. And once, worldwide, once the base of the pyramid of female amateur boxing gets bigger, when that base of the pyramid is big, you're going to get much higher quality professional female fighters that grow out of that, just like the men.
Dee, did you ever have the opportunity to compete at the trials for the Olympics?
Well, it wasn't an Olympic sport when I was participating. So there was maybe nationals, and then for women who made a national team, sometimes there was like dual tournaments versus another country, that type of thing.
We are talking to professional boxer Dee Hamaguchi. She's based out of California. She's a judo fighter, and she's also a professional boxer. She had an upcoming fight, but because of this pandemic, it was canceled. Dee, the growth of women's boxing, and really boxing, I've seen a couple of your pictures on Instagram, and you've taken a couple of pictures with very famous trainers and boxers. Growing up as a boxing fan, and I'm a huge boxing fan, I've followed Mike Tyson in those years, and even now with the Mayweather years, and really all the Pernell Sweepy, Whitaker. Is there a particular boxer that you tried to mimic when you became a professional boxer?
Oh, I never felt I was trying to mimic the fighters, but the first few fighters I really paid attention to were Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis and Sugar Ray Robinson.
Was there a reason why Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, and Joe Louis? I think Joe Louis, to me, and I've said this over and over again, and I'll say it again, Joe Louis is the greatest boxer of all time. I don't want to hear Muhammad Ali or Rocky Marciano.
Why you got to go there?
Floyd Mayweather.
Why you got to go there?
What do you mean why?
Why you got to go there? Why you got to go there with the Marciano thing? Why?
What are you talking about?
Why?
Marciano didn't fight in 30 rounds, did he?
Why did you go there?
Did Marciano ever fight in 30 rounds?
This is an Italian thing.
Joe Louis fought 30-round fights. 30-round fights.
What 30 rounds?
What are you talking about? Joe Louis. Come on, Dee. Could you please explain to this guy when Joe Louis was the champion, he fought in 30-round fights?
That's what I won't claim to be an expert on, but the old time guys, man, they would do like ridiculous number of rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking like Jack Johnson era.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. But to answer your question about why those three fighters, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was living in Harlem, and so that just felt like part of the culture, if you will. Like Joe Louis fought Snelling at the Polo Grounds, which is now a housing development. Sugar Ray used to be in Harlem all the time, and he owned businesses up and down, I think it was 7th Avenue. I just hear stories about this from people. So I would go over to the Schomburg Center, so big library on the corner of 135th and Lenox.
Right.
And this is really cool for any boxing fans. They have a photography archive where you could ask for permission to look at stuff, and they have like these really awesome old black and white photos of all these fighters.
Right.
But I actually did that one day, and they're not photographs that you would have seen in books already. So, I'm assuming that resource, once the pandemic's over, whatever, will be available to the public again. I encourage any boxing fan that's in the New York area, you might want to make that trip to the Schomburg Center just to check some of that stuff out. And then I also read Thomas Hauser's book on Ali and thought that was really intriguing because it gave kind of an inside look to the human aspect of who he was.
As you guys know, we are talking to professional boxer. How old are you, Dee? You're 55 years old, right?
Yeah.
55-year-old champion and boxer, Dee Hamaguchi. Now, Dee, MMA has really exploded in the last 10 years. And the growth of mixed martial arts, the UFC, Bellator, all these different organizations that we've seen over the last couple of years. And boxing, prize fighting has really fallen off. And I would say the last 2 years with Canelo Alvarez, Triple G, and some of these great young fighters coming up, the Kid Garcia that De La Hoya just brought in, do you think boxing is falling off and mixed martial arts is taking over? Or do you think boxing is just sitting back and waiting for those next champions to really take over the boxing and the boxing world and prize fighting?
I feel boxing is still alive and well. I just feel like MMA is like expanded so rapidly, right? And in my opinion, there are definitely fans of both, like educated fans of both, people who are really just into combat sport.
Right.
They're probably going to be watching both. Like, originally when the old school UFC was around, as a boxing person, I was like, I cannot watch this because it was two guys running at each other like they're doing swimming or something.
I said the same thing.
The quality of the matches was just not good. And I felt like, I can't watch this. This is going to make me, I'm going to be looking at something I don't want to copy. I don't want to copy that. So I stayed away from it. But to its credit, MMA as a sport has evolved and gotten the striking is much, much better. And so, hey, I'm a fan as well. I try to watch everything. There's nights when I got like split screen. I'm trying to watch both at the same time. So I don't feel like it's necessarily a question of boxing competing against MMA. I think there's groups of people who only want to watch MMA, groups of people who only want to watch boxing, and then there's some of us who really just love watching both. So I think there's room for everybody, really.
Dee, when you look at some of these prize fighters and even undercard fighters, they're making millions of dollars in boxing. Obviously, a lot of the promotion and promoting goes to the fighter and the promotion team. And then you look at the UFC, mixed martial arts, and these guys, and I've said this over and over again, that the fighters in mixed martial arts are underpaid. Do you think as, an older fighter, and you look at some of these younger kids, do you think they would probably choose to go into boxing because the money and the situation of the money that they can make in boxing than they can make in mixed martial arts? Or do you think now more than ever, because of combat sports and the transition of the sport, do you think it would be more interesting for some of these young fighters to get into mixed martial arts?
No. Here's the thing. I think it depends on specifically what age group you talk to. Me being at 55, to me, a young fighter could be anywhere like 30 down, right? But it's just lately been my experience when I'm in even in the boxing gym or just meeting young kids after my last fight in Tijuana. I met this young girl who was probably about 7 years old, and her parents told me, hey, she wants to meet you. She's now training in MMA. And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty awesome, that this little girl just absolutely sees MMA as an option for her. That's wonderful, And I've met other like little kids, again, like say 10 and younger in the boxing gym, and they have their intention is they want to do MMA. So I think they're not thinking money, right?
Right.
When you're that young, it's really not about money. I think it's just out there more for kids. Like they just sort of are granting MMA. Maybe it's the cool factor. I don't know, but there's something there in terms of what kids want to do. Now, once you're a little bit older, 20s, and you have invested time in training, I've even told some of the guys I train with in MMA, I'm like, hey, you could make some money doing boxing, like more money. You know what I mean? Particularly for a heavyweight male, there's just such a big gap between a few thousand for MMA versus definitely tens of thousands to start with, right? With boxing.
Now, Dee, and I want to get into your career and what motivates you, being that you're 55 years old. What motivates you to get into the ring and fight? I mean, it's dangerous. You're getting hit numerous times to the head. What motivates you to get into the ring and be a professional women's boxer?
That's a great question, and the curious thing is, originally, like 5 years ago, I started just upping my training again with the motivation that I wanted to fight MMA, and I still do want to do that. It was just that the opportunity to step in the ring opened up for me, and I was like, I'm going to jump on this chance I have to start boxing again. And that's also because for MMA, I got to jump right to pro if I want to do MMA. I don't get to go through the amateur ranks. So I figured, I've been out of combat sport for a minute, doing a few pro fights, if nothing else, would just get me back in the mindset of what it's like to throw down against somebody with that intention. Because that's, as you know, it's completely different from even the toughest sparring sessions you had in the gym.
So now, Dee, you said ultimately you're still thinking about the goal is still to make the transition in MMA from pro boxing, correct? So you're out in California right now, your fight got scratched and such. Are you still waiting for that one more boxing opponent before you transition your training completely into more of an MMA camp? Or with this scratch, the longer it goes before you could get the next bout with this pandemic going on, do you see yourself closer and closer to making that transition to start the training into MMA?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like you said, especially with we're halfway through the year now, right?
Right.
I've been working at judo. Judo was always there. Like judo's already in me. You know what I mean? So when I decided I'm going to train MMA, it just became a shift to no gi and grappling, jiu-jitsu style, learning a few more submissions and whatnot.
Who have you looked at in regards to handling your training out there in California to make this transition?
Oh, I've been training at Hyasan MMA, and the head instructor there, his name is Gokor Chivichin.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him.
No, Gokor, yes.
No,
Gokor's been around for a long time. He's got a background with Sambo and such, not just jiu-jitsu, but a lot of different styles. Real leg lock master himself. But he also is part of that that whole training tree where you see Ronda Rousey's trainer and such. He's been around for a very, very, very long time. A lot of times people won't understand because back then you didn't have the mainstream opponents. So a lot of the trainers back then, just like the Lloyd Irvings and stuff, everybody had a fight career. But because a lot of these things weren't sanctioned, I don't like using the term underground. It just wasn't sanctioned. Mm-hmm. Nobody cared. The states didn't care about taxing anything and getting their hands in anything. So it was considered illegal underground. It's got this bad little stigma and such. It's just more or less things weren't sanctioned. Everybody had a career that just probably was not exposed to the forefront in regards to mainstream, and it wasn't televised or anything. A lot of it was tape training back then. No different than when you hear about pro wrestling back in the day. It was a lot of tape trading. It was the same thing with MMA. So Gokor, Hickson Gracie, all of these guys that were doing this stuff, they had a very big career internationally, but it just wasn't mainstream. So no, Gokor is an old school guy. He's got an old school teaching mentality where it's a lot of people say, oh, it's about passion and this, and everybody wants to start levitating and getting into the spiritual, this, that. No, with Gokor, it's work. If you're not working, don't show up. You're not allowed to have a bad day. If you have a bad day, you're going to get your ass beat, and you just keep on going. Am I pretty much correct?
Right. You're absolutely right. I mean, because I've been doing the MMA sparring there for the past 5 years and going to his grappling classes as well.
He's trial by fire. He just throws you in there.
I dialed it back a little bit, but I've still been taking Benny the Jet's kickboxing class at least once a week. And but jumping back to Gokor, the thing I really love about taking his classes is I feel like because I have a judo background, and he's also a judo master.
Yes.
I feel like it's like we speak the same language, so I can understand him really well when he teaches, even though I'm never going to be a leg lock person, but I can really appreciate how he explains the technique and breaks it down and then shows you where you can go from that one move. You can branch off into these other moves, or here's the defensive move, here's the counter, and here's how you counter the counter. You know, it's I don't know. I really like the way he teaches, and he is truly a master because people who are very good, like black belt level at leg locks, they learn from him, and they're like, wow, what was that? You know what I mean? It's just he's like next level with all of that.
We are talking to boxing champion, 55-year-old Dee Hamaguchi, who's now trying to get herself into the mixed martial arts world, and I think it's an incredible story. 55 years old, and she's still boxing, and now she's putting her foot right into the MMA world, which is very, very unique, even though when you talk about boxers trying to get into the MMA divisions, it's not easy. It's definitely hard work and dedication. We've seen James Toney try to do that. It didn't work. We've seen plenty of guys, plenty of
Ray
boxers.
Mercer wasn't bad. Ray Mercer actually wasn't
He was
that
all
bad.
right.
Ray Mercer wasn't that bad.
He was all right.
Ray Mercer had a shot. He went with that street mentality of, all right, I'm boxing, to hell with it. Let's just go. But that was the only thing that kept him in the survival mode.
I'll have to check Ray Mercer's MMA fight.
It's not bad. Yeah.
No, Ray Mercer was a good fighter, but Ray Mercer, when you look at him as a boxer and how he transitioned into mixed martial arts, it took him a couple of years to figure it out.
It did.
Boxing, when you go from boxing to MMA, and I did the same thing. I was a boxer, and I tried to get into MMA, and at first, I agree with you, Dee. When I saw MMA for the first time, I was like, I am not laying on top of a man practically halfway naked and try to grapple with him and try to break his arm or bend his knee back, and I didn't even know what the moves were. And then I knew what the rear naked chokehold was because my grandfather was a Marine, and he always put it on me when I was a kid. And he always told me to fight his wrist. And I never knew what he was talking about until I started training, and I was taught how to fight somebody's wrist, to try to tuck my chin under somebody's arm and try to fight the wrist so he can't close up the hole where it pretty much chokes you out. But as a boxer, and I've learned all different transitions of boxing to MMA, and even MMA fighters, a.k.a. Conor McGregor, into boxing, it's not an easy transition. So what makes you, at the age of 55, want to transition from boxing to MMA?
Well, the motivation is really, I want to put my boxing skills and my judo skills together. Because I really feel like, even though I'm speaking to you as a pro boxer, and that's the most recent combat sport I've done, I'm really a judoka. Like, that's really who I am. I wouldn't be boxing if I hadn't done judo, which sounds weird, right? Because there's no crossover technically. Boxing and judo are like opposites in terms of technique, right? You're absolutely not allowed to hit the other person in judo, and you're absolutely not allowed to throw somebody in the boxing ring.
Right.
So they're like polar opposites, but it's like the reason I decided, hey, I'm going to do MMA is because it's like, you know what, if I really am a complete fighter or a complete martial artist, I got to put these two things together. Because for so many years, I just kept them wide apart, you know?
Where do you come up with the love to fight? I mean, I'm 38 years old, okay, and I have a bad neck. I have bulging discs in my lower back. I have a tear in my rotator cuff. I have a herniated disc in my C6, and I want to get back into fighting. There's no question that I do.
That's all you have?
Yeah. What? I'm sorry.
That's it.
That's enough.
That's all you got?
I'm 38 years old. What are you talking
God,
about?
You're a rookie.
I'm a rookie. I'm walking with a tear in my rotator cuff where I need surgery. I need surgery in my C6 because I have nerve damage. And I have 6 bulging discs in my lower back. And that's all I've got? Are you kidding me? I'm 38 years old. What do you got? Crazy over here? Mr. I'm in pain? Seriously? Anyways. Stupid. What pushes you to do this? I mean, it's an incredible thing. I'm going to give you a lot of credit because I couldn't see. I think my mom is now 63 years old, and you're 55 years old. So you're only 8 years younger than my mother. And
I love how this conversation's going right now. I love it.
I'm being serious. And and I have to give you a lot of credit because me as a 38-year-old, and I wasn't a professional boxer. I was an amateur boxer, and then I did amateur MMA, and I was a good fighter. But when I got slammed, I was 8-0, and I got slammed in a Ring of Combat tournament. I practically got whatever you want, hip tossed, and I landed on my back of my neck. I was knocked out for like 2 seconds before I started squirming up. And I got up after the fight, and I did win that fight. I said that this isn't for me. My neck was...
Do you remember that without watching the video?
No, I don't. I do not.
That's how you know when somebody's telling the truth. When they say, I got knocked out. Oh, do you remember everything? Yeah, okay. And then you
all I remember in that round when he slammed me on my neck was... I felt he didn't realize that I was knocked out for at least 2 or 3 seconds, and I was after I caught my eye or whatever, I caught my equilibrium. I started squirming and trying to cover my head because he was trying to not drop elbows, but drop hands on my head, hammer fist me on the ground, and I was trying to protect myself so I can catch my bearing. And you want to know something? What I've learned more than anything with MMA, and you'll learn, obviously, because you're training right now, is the stamina. Everybody thinks that boxing, you need tremendous, tremendous stamina. You need even more stamina when some man or some lady is laying on top of you, trying to put an armbar, a key lock, or a knee lock on you or something like that, or an ankle lock, and you have to compose yourself enough to try to get yourself out of it before you tap yourself out. So what drives you? What in your heart, what drives you at the age of 55, a boxing champion, to get into a sport which is dangerous and obviously putting yourself at risk at every second of the time of the fight, because somebody's going to take you down and completely tap you out?
It's almost like I'm focused more on the art part of martial arts at this stage. Does that make sense? Like in my training, I'm really focused on just getting the techniques right in training so that I can execute it under pressure, first in sparring and then in the actual combat. So I'll give you an example. Like the thing I'm focused on now with my boxing is really trying to land my first 2 knuckles in the punches and have good mechanics with my punches. And in my last fight last year, October, I think it was, I felt good because I was like, I cracked the woman with the right hand and I cracked her with the left hook. And I could really feel it. And she buckled a little bit, so she felt it too. So it's kind of like every fight, like trying to execute that next thing.
I think it's incredible. I think it's incredible.
As far as MMA goes, it's like it's kind of indulgent, really, because it's like I want to throw someone. I want to throw them. I want to get them on the ground and armbar or choke.
Now, Dee, and by the way, we are speaking to professional boxer Dee Hamaguchi, Canadian fighter. She's based out of California right now. She's home alone because her family's in Canada right now as we speak. She's training for her upcoming boxing match / she's trying to put her foot in the door in the MMA world. Now, do you plan as a 55-year-old to compete and maybe get your foot in the door as a UFC Bellator fighter? Is that your plan, or are you just doing it just for the training, the technique, and all of that?
I would definitely like a pro fight in MMA. I need to fight at 105 pounds or lighter, and that's I think that's a possibility with the Bellator promotion. I mean, I'm open to ONE FC. Or really any of the local promoters here in Los Angeles who can get me a fight at 100 or 105 pounds.
It's an atom weight.
She would be the oldest, if the UFC signed her, she would be the oldest UFC fighter in UFC history. You would be
You would have to go up to 125 pounds to fight.
Yes.
Because the only division that has the only promotions that I believe have atom weight are ONE FC, which you mentioned, and Invicta, which when you have somebody like Gokor in your corner, and that whole Armenian, posse over there, those guys could open up doors pretty quickly, especially since you're carrying over a boxing career. Sometimes, and I'm not making it sound like this is easy thing to do, or it's an advantage, but sometimes having that combat sports background in a professional sport and making the transition, those organizations will take a flyer on you because you have that credibility of being battle tested. So it's not saying, oh, you didn't pay your dues because you didn't come up all the way from the bingo halls all the way up into those organizations. Let's be real, it's not easy to find female fighters. I've said it once before. If you have a camp and on your team, you have a golden goose, which is that female fighter that can go out there, deliver the punch, take a punch, and come back and do it again. Zhang, Joanna's, it's those things are some of the most valuable pieces to your team and your camp and your school, your academy. So when you have Gokor in your corner and the fighters that he's dealt with and such, and just from his experiences with the UFC and all that, he's been he's had fighters UFC
for almost,
King of the Cage,
almost 15 years.
He's had fighters all over the damn place professionally in every damn organization. Some of the organizations don't even exist anymore that he has had fighters in, and that's the truth. I mean, Gokor actually used to have little black and white ads for his academy in the black belt magazines when MMA and such wasn't that big, right next to like Bart Vale's Shudo fighting and things like that. It was actually called shoot fighting back in the day. It wasn't even MMA. It was like NHB. That's what Gokor was doing and had his curriculum back then. So she's in very good hands, and I wish you all the best with everything that's going on. One thing I can say about Gokor, and I like it because it's the way I always had that coaching style and would try. He just throws you in the fire. He'll throw you in there with somebody. And it's either survive or adapt or lose. And he'll wake you up later when the gyms get ready to close.
Then I'm not training out of his gym.
Listen, you can learn a lot. Once you get knocked out and you're looking at the lights, you understand how bad it feels. It's one of those
Trust
things you don't
me,
want to
when
do
I got dropped on my neck and I woke up in 2-3 seconds, I saw the lights and I didn't want to see them. A matter of fact, I didn't even know where I was for about 5 seconds until I had somebody trying to drop hammer fists on the back of my head.
Isn't it
and
amazing?
was trying to cover me.
Isn't it amazing how that? And not only that, you get up, you still compete. That whole wonderful moment of you winning and victory.
Wonderful.
And the amazing thing about it is you don't remember it.
I didn't remember.
When
but
somebody says, "How does it feel?" I don't know.
It's funny.
Looked fun on the video, though.
It's funny because everybody, after your fight, they always try to interview you in the ring. And I've, over the years in boxing and MMA, I'm not one of those guys after my fight to even say anything. I pretty much get out of the ring, get out of the cage as soon as my fight was over. And I tell the story all the time, and this is why I don't like Dana White. Dana White was at one of my Ring of Combat fights. I won that fight. And he was bringing in the belt in the Ring of Combat, and he was going to give me the belt and blah, 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 blah. So I got the belt. I got it put on me by him, and I walked out. I didn't even want to speak to the crowd because I'm not one of those people that have any interest of, bragging about my win. You know what I mean? I went to the back, and Dana White came back there and gave me, and this is before the UFC really took off, and Dana White just hammered it on me, telling me that I was, what's the words that he used?
Arrogant?
Not arrogant, impossible, rude, disrespectful. Those are the kind of words. And I told him, listen, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything. If I win a fight and I don't want to speak, I don't have to speak. And he claimed I embarrassed him and I embarrassed the sport by doing that. And ever since then, I have had my own thoughts of Dana White, not only on our radio shows, but really just him as a person, because I don't think he cares about the fight. I think he cares about himself.
Don't start. We got Dean on the phone.
I'm
don't
serious.
Start. Why do you always got to go back to him?
I'm serious. I'm just
always gotta
speaking the
go back to
truth.
him?
D, I'm just speaking the truth, okay?
D, don't let him suck you in, D.
Yeah,
Don't let him suck you in.
something you listen to.
No, it's called respect, and he doesn't have any. So
You see, you always got to go back to him.
No, and D, I'll tell you what. I believe that, it doesn't matter how old you are or what you do. If you put your heart to it and you work your butt off, you can do anything you put your mind to. So I envy you for being that you're 55 years old, you're a professional boxer, and you want to get your foot in the door with MMA, which to me is it's an unbelievable sport, and technically it's just as hard technically than it is in boxing. So I think it's an incredible story, and I'm happy that we got you on the show.
Oh, I really appreciate it. It was wonderful talking to both of you. You guys are, completely informed, and you've done the sport yourself, so you know what it's like, you know what it feels like, and it's a real honor to be included on your radio show today.
Well, we're honored to have you. How's that sound? I mean, and I'll tell you this: your next fight, your MMA, if it's MMA or boxing, I want to get you on before
It'll be
you
MMA.
fight.
She wants MMA.
And I'll tell you this, D.
She wants MMA.
D,
She wants MMA.
I love MMA, but I'm a boxer. I am a boxer by heart.
He likes MMA.
I love MMA.
He likes MMA.
I love MMA, but I'm a boxer by heart. I love boxing. I love professional boxing. And we go back and forth on this show, back and forth, which is better, and we argue our points.
First off, let the record show. I
Don't
am
let him
not
lie to you.
against boxing.
Don't let him lie to you.
I am a fan of boxing. In
He
the 80s
is
and
a
90s.
liar.
80s and 90s boxing is better
Liar.
than boxing now.
Liar.
80s and 90s is boxing is better than now. It's true.
He's a liar.
It's true.
He's a liar.
Boxing in the 80s and 90s was a hell of a lot more fun to watch than now.
Oh, absolutely, because the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
So, but not just the heavyweight division.
The heavyweight
Not
division.
just the heavyweight division.
Oh, what division? What division right now is better than the 155, 145
You said
division right
now?
now?
No, no. I said back then, boxing as a whole. Don't put words in my mouth. What do I look like? What do I look like? One of Khabib's teammates that wants to call in? Don't get me started.
panda bear. That's what you look like.
I'll take it. See, she likes it. Team Panda.
No,
you got another one right there, Errol. Thank you
Mr.
very
Gratitude,
much.
Team Gratitude. Come on. We're getting shirts made. One's going to say Gratitude on the back with our logo on the front, and the other one's going to say Panda. You can choose whichever team you want to be on. But, D, I'm telling you right now, if you were smart, you take Team Gratitude.
He
okay?
forgot it. He forgot his own nickname.
Listen, I'm tired, okay?
I'm tired. I'm in pain.
I'm in pain, too. I got a C6 right now. I got a herniated disc, a nerve damage right there. And I'm sitting here talking to the great Dee Hamaguchi.
I got a bulging disc in my back, and I'm carrying like 5 people on
You
my
are
shoulders.
a bulging disc on this show, man. You're my bulging disc. You are. You are. But I love you.
You would miss me so much if I wasn't here.
I would.
You would
do
miss
love
me
you.
so much.
I do love him.
You would have to, like, I mean, let's be real. You would have to, like, try to bring somebody in, like, I don't know.
Like who?
I don't know. What's that guy that you used to like working with?
Who's that? We have had a lot of people on this show.
I don't know. I think he's got a show, something to do with the corner or something.
Oh, Kyle's Corner. Give me a
I didn't
break.
say that. I'm just
Kyle's
saying.
Corner. Let me tell you something. Well, I'm not even going to get into that right now on this show. Thank you very much. Dee, thank you for joining us. You are awesome. You really are. And I really want to get you back on the show when your fight, depending on if it's MMA or boxing, we want to get you on the show. We want to talk boxing, MMA with you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. I could talk to you guys all day.
Well, we were talking about 15 minutes. I know you wanted to be on for 15 minutes. Who would have thought you were going to be on the show for almost 50 minutes? So we appreciate you joining us, and I know you have a busy schedule right now. Hopefully, you and your family are taking care of each other with this pandemic, and stay safe. And looking forward to your up and coming endeavors.
Appreciate it, guys. Same thing to you.
Absolutely, Dee. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Dee Hamaguchi, who gave us some good intake of really, and it went back and forth, but I think I realized mid part of our conversation that she wanted to get her foot in the door with the MMA world and mixed martial arts. And I think it's an incredible story and that's why I wanted to interview her, because this is a professional boxer. You could check her out, Dee Hamaguchi. Oh, we have her. Who are we speaking to?
Kenny Vasquez.
Kenny, what's going on, my friend?
What's going on, Heather?
What's going on, my friend?
Not much. Just here enjoying listening to the conversation. You know, you guys bring up some good points in general. And I agree with you. Dana White's a retard.
Kenny, don't get him started, man.
Thank you, Kenny.
Don't get him started, man.
Kenny, let me tell you something. Now,
for the love of God.
You should be on Team Gratitude's team. You know, not
Never
Team
happened.
Panda.
Never
not Team Panda.
happened.
It's Team Gratitude.
Never
because
happened.
Because you know and I know that Team Gratitude doesn't step back. We lay the 3 throws right in, and we do the fadeaway jumpers, baby. We're Michael Jordan-esque. As far
That's
as
great.
Team Panda,
I deal with fighting. You could have basketball. I deal with fighting.
We're the Michael Jordans of MMA. That's what we are. MMA and boxing. That's what we are. So if you join Team Gratitude, you are part of the Michael Jordan-esque MMA boxing team right over here. If you go to Team Panda, well, I don't know.
But here's the thing. I respect your opinion and answer, but I can't go against Team Panda because I wouldn't be in this game without Anthony. He mentored me. He's the one who trained me. And
That's
got
not
me
fair.
into,
That's not fair.
you know,
There's nothing. What's not fair?
That's
about
not
it?
fair.
What's
That's
not
your
fair about
friend.
it?
That's
no,
your friend.
it's not my friend.
Nah, get outta
Okay,
here.
we have worked with each other for a long time.
So wait a second.
We have helped each other out with opportunities for a long time. Where's your following?
What do you mean?
Where are
Where's
your people?
What do you mean? Where's
Where are
my
your
following?
people?
My people.
Where are your people?
What are you talking
Where's
about?
your little cult?
Jeff is part of my people. He's my
Jeff,
team.
for the last 2 weeks. Before that, he was Anthony.
No, he's team yes. He's team
right now
gratitude.
he is.
He's team gratitude.
Right now, but I'll tell you right
He's
now,
team
if I win him
gratitude.
$200, guess what?
$200. By the way, why don't you stay on so we can make our picks, buddy? How about that? How about that, buddy?
Kenny, you want to get on this?
Yes, I and Kenny needs to. Let's get on.
Come on, man.
I'll jump on this.
Let's get Kenny in on this. But here's the thing. Kenny goes after we do. How's that?
I'm going to try.
Just
MMA.
so it doesn't look like one of us is trying to, kiss his ass or anything by going along with him, because that'll be your next excuse or something.
So that's what it is. It's all about excuses with me. I'm over here. I'm
I
producing
give
a
reasons.
show. I'm hosting a show, and I'm making.
You're hosting it by yourself?
No.
You're hosting it by yourself.
No.
I see the way
I'm
it is.
I'm controlling everything that's going on.
You got a
here.
mouse.
I got a mouse. Is that
You
what
got
it is?
one mouse over there.
Give me a break. Are you kidding
If I had
me?
a mouse over here, I'd be clicking all over the place. Over there. Look. Oh, great. Look. Look,
Now,
home row keys, home
real
row
quick,
keys.
Team gratitude. I got something to tell you though.
Oh my! Hey,
Yeah, let's hear this.
There we go.
Let's
now,
hear this.
something I forgot to mention before, Anthony. I don't know if Anthony remembers, but you're a huge boxing person, right? You love boxing.
Yeah, okay.
Kylie can't.
What joke is that?
I'm actually recently
even say
in
anything.
January just got my USA boxing certification.
See, there you go.
That's great.
There you go. We drank a little Kool-Aid
Team
for you.
gratitude. Team gratitude.
He drank a little Kool-Aid for you.
You're on the boxing side now, my friend.
No,
That's right.
never. I'll never be boxing side. Boxing faded like around the mid '90s.
Oh.
It started fading towards
Boxing's
then when,
fading.
you
Boxing
know.
right now is on top of the world from MMA. You're looking at the garbage that they're putting out, the UFC's putting out right now. You think it's on top of boxing right now? Look at the great fighters that are in boxing right now, the young fighters in boxing. Tell me one fighter right now in MMA, and don't give me the crap that you're going to put out there with the Conor McGregor's, John Jones. Give me a fighter, an upcoming fighter
Don't
right
do this
now.
with him. He'll come up with somebody.
Upcoming fighter.
Well, let me say a name because you're just going to
Go
keep
ahead.
yelling.
Go ahead, bro.
Tell me. I'll tell you. In my opinion, Shane Vargos. He's fucking up and coming. He's doing his thing.
Shane Vargos. Shane Vargos. Who's he fought? Who's he beat?
You asked for an up-and-coming name.
Who's he beat?
Now that he comes up with an up-and-coming name, you're going to crap
Who
on
has
him?
he beat?
He's beating up other people in the same class as him, and he's standing out, and he's dominating.
He's
Yes,
fighting
and
garbage. He's fighting garbage. That's why. Who's he beating?
But everybody in the beginning fights who they have to get to earn the name they have to, get. Like the way Jones had to beat a bunch of people before he started getting his recognition. McGregor had to beat a few people. Anderson Silva just stood out from pride, but the first time that made me really realize how deadly Anderson Silva was when he beat one of my favorite fighters of all time, Chris Labian. He fucking annihilated him, and I just couldn't believe it. So right there, you have to just work your way up, and then once you get those names and you take them out, that's it.
Well,
so you can't really say he's beaten nobody. He's beaten the competition that was equally skilled like him. He just surpassed him that day, and he's moving his way up.
Well, I will say this, and you mentioned John Jones. So let's go look at the first 3 fights that John Jones had. Okay.
Okay.
Brad Bernard, Carlos Eduardo, who's a good fighter. He was a great fighter. Anthony Pena, who's another good fighter. Ryan Verrett, who was
another seasoned veteran.
He was a seasoned veteran.
Yes.
So you're looking at those first 4 fights. 3 out of the 4 fights, John Jones fought very good fighters. Now you mentioned Vargos, and you bring him up, and that's fine. You think he's an upcoming fight, he's the next big thing, and that's great. Who's he beaten? And that's what I want to see. If I go look at his, I would probably say, and how many fights has he had? 5, 6, 7 fights?
No, I think he's around his 11th fight now.
Okay, so he's 11 fights. I bet you his first 3 or 4 fights, 3 out of the 4 fighters, you probably don't even know who they are, or they're not probably even in MMA.
But that's just about every professional in their career. But here's the thing. And how can you really... You have to fight what's out there.
All right.
You have to fight what's available.
All right.
I mean, do you really think they say, "Oh, I'm looking for the crap fight"? And you're out of your mind if you think when it comes to professional. I'm not talking about amateur.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to professional, sometimes you have to fight and take the opportunity that's presented to you, especially that early in your pro career, because you don't know when the next one's going to happen. Just saying.
All right. So, are you ready? Are you guys ready to lose? Because I'm going to win this week.
We'll pick after us.
I am going to kick your ass this week. And Jeff, bet on my picks, because now I do it. I'm very good at making my football picks. I win every single year with the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I'm just telling you, and I know MMA. If you don't think I don't know MMA,
now why are you throwing words in my mouth? Did I say that?
All right, so
did I say that? Jeff said it. I didn't say it.
No, Jeff did not say that.
Yes, he did. No, he didn't. That time that you threw a temper tantrum and you were like sitting here like pouting like a little kid that couldn't get a box of cereal at the grocery store.
The top 5 fights. I'll let you make the first pick.
Okay. We're starting from the main all the way down?
Yes.
Main event, I see Gilbert Burns with the upset over Tyrone Woodley.
I got Tyrone Woodley.
He did that.
I got Tyrone Woodley.
There you go. See? There, he agreed with you.
Heavyweight co-main events. Go ahead.
Ivanov.
You got Ivanov?
Yes.
Let me think about Ivanov's last fight. And then let me think of...
I'm going to go with Sake.
I'm going to go with Ivanov.
I'm going to go with Sake. I'm going to take the opposite.
Wait, who's writing this down, brother? Is anyone writing this down saying who got who?
I'm sorry? What did you say?
He said, are we writing down the picks to see who's
we
got
know.
who?
We trust me. We're not going to forget.
No, we won't forget.
We won't forget. Trust me.
Unfortunately, two people that are so unbelievably fond of arguing, we will remember.
We're not going to forget. Trust me, we're not going to forget. Go ahead. The catch weight.
The catch weight. Billy Quantrillo and Spike Carlisle. I'm going to go Billy.
Billy.
I'm going to go with Billy.
Okay.
Billy.
Lightweight.
Roosevelt Roberts and Brock Weaver.
Brock. It's Brock.
Brock.
It's Brock.
I'm going with Brock. Brock too. Brock.
I'm going Roosevelt.
I'm going with Brock.
Okay. I'm going with Rock here.
Yeah. Women's
strawweight. Now, this one I know pretty much everybody's going to be keeping their eye on. Mackenzie Dern making her return after her pregnancy against Hannah Cyphers. I'm actually going with Hannah Cyphers on this one.
I'm going with Mackenzie.
I'm going with Mackenzie too.
Okay. Let's go to the prelim. Hit the prelim.
All right, hold on.
This could be, it's right there. Click on the right side. No, up.
Right side, hold on.
Up, right, down, over. See where it says main? Then there we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
All right.
Okay. Well, here we go. Long Island favorite. We have Caitlin going against Antonia. This is Valentina's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Antonia Semchenko. So Caitlin, who just got done fighting her sister, is now going against Antonia. I'm actually taking Antonia. Antonia is an insanely good striker. Probably might even be better than Valentina from a striking standpoint. And this one, I mean, they didn't do her any favors in bringing her in on this one right after Caitlin went against Valentina. I'm going to go with Antonia on this one.
I'm going with Antonia.
Antonia.
Welterweight, Daniel Rodriguez and Gabe Green. I'm taking Rodriguez. Coming off his last win.
I'm going with Rodriguez.
I paused for a second. I was like, Daniel Rodriguez.
I'm going with Rodriguez too. All right. Light heavyweight.
Jamal Hill against Fares Diableu.
I don't know who that is.
Neither do I. So I'm going with Hill. I'm going with Hill. I'm going with
the Abreu. I'm going with the Abreu.
You're going with Abreu?
I'm going with the Abreu.
I'm going with Hill.
I'm going with I'm going to do the same thing.
You're going with Hill?
Yeah.
So am I. I don't even know who that guy is.
What's really funny is I'm surprised that these three guys are this far down This is like ultimately the first, second, and third fight of the night. Possibly it'll be on Facebook. Flyweight fight: Tim Elliott versus Brandon Royal, making his debut at the UFC. Obviously, I'm going with Tim Elliott, the seasoned veteran. He's fought Mighty Mouse. He went through the Ultimate Fighter TV show, going against all those other champions and such. A real big-time veteran. Unfortunately, his record doesn't show it, but he's battled against a lot of good opponents. Going with Tim Elliott on this one. Errol?
I don't know Brandon Roval, so I'm gonna go with Brandon because I don't know who he is. So I'm gonna take.
You just want to go against me.
I'm gonna take the underdog.
You just want to go against me.
I'm because I
so spiteful.
As far as the prelims, I don't care about prelims.
Don't say that because this could ultimately tip in your favor for winning the whole night.
No, I don't care about this.
Oh, you think you're going to be so far ahead it don't even matter?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm going with Roval.
Bantamweight, Louis Smolka and Casey Keeney. I'm actually going with Casey on this one.
Yeah.
I'll go with Keeney.
I'm going with Casey.
I'm going to go with Casey Keeney too.
And probably the blockbuster Facebook exclusive fight.
Oh yeah,
the featherweight Chris Gutierrez versus Vince Morales.
I'm going with
Gutierrez.
I'm going with Gutierrez.
I think that was like a.
I'm gonna go with Morales.
You're gonna go with Morales, so.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh man.
Jeff, bet on that one, Jeff.
What's the bet?
Well, hell, I already got $100 on some. I already got $100 on some research over here that
So
freaking paper chase over here has to do later on.
Get out of here.
We should actually get Speedy on this right now.
Speedy doesn't know anything about
Speedy.
this. He doesn't know anything
Two
about
Gates
this.
versus Two Gates. Let's go.
What do you mean, Two Gates?
Two Gates. Well, I'm sorry. Two total pay-per-views. What's up?
You know what, man? You are a pain in my rear end. You know that?
Okay.
Because
Isn't it better having me in the house pissing out than out of the house pissing in? You would miss me.
I would miss you. I would.
I make things fun.
You make things annoying and fun.
We all know we know he's a masochist, so obviously you take
We're
pleasure
here.
in it.
We're here. We're
You
arguing.
there? What are you doing?
What are you doing over there?
What are you doing over there?
No, I'm just listening. I didn't hear that part. The phone broke up. I was like, wait.
Well, this was Errol basically saying in regards to his nickname how grateful he is that he has me.
Hold on. Hold on. You should be grateful that I'm here. You know
why?
Because I'm the spunk. I'm the spark that just has everything to handle.
Spunk?
I'm the spunk. I'm the spark. Yes.
The spark.
No, I'm the spunk. I'm the spunk spark.
Spunk.
Yes, I'm the spunk spark. Yes.
He's the spunk.
I use spunk. What's wrong with spunk?
Errol says spunk.
You just sounded like a hippie right now. Oh, spunk, guys.
Hold on one second. Let's hear the
You didn't
meaning.
even spell it right.
Hold on.
There's a U in there.
Hold on one second. All right. Jesus, man. First of all, you are a pain in
It's
my
not spunk. It's spunk.
Hold on one second.
See, Spunky. There we go. Spunky. That should be your nickname.
No.
Errol Spunky Marks.
No. Here's spunk. What does spunk mean right over here?
How about spark?
Determination. Yes. That's spunk.
There we go.
Yes.
Errol Spunky Marks.
No, I like team gratitude.
How about Sparky?
I like team gratitude. Team gratitude. We're getting shirts made by
Spunky.
We are getting shirts made and
the Spunky Spark.
Team Panda for Anthony over here, and Team Gratitude because I think Team Gratitude is just
no.
Too
You
powerful.
said it right there. It's right up.
No, it's Team
Spunky.
Gratitude.
Spunky.
Come on, man. It's Team Gratitude. I don't like it's
Spunky.
I have spunk. Okay.
You said you're a spark, a spunky spark.
Yes, I am a spunky spark.
Look, listen to that alliteration. Just rolls off your tongue.
It does. It rolls off my tongue.
Errol the.
And when you go home, it's going to roll.
Spark
and when you go home, it's going to roll off your wife's tongue too.
Now, fellas, I got a question for you.
What?
I got a question.
I know.
Now,
I know somebody that you got to talk to after this. That's going to love that one.
And Conor McGregor, right?
Say again?
Earlier, you guys were talking about Anderson Silva and Conor McGregor fighting.
Yes.
Talking about how Anderson Silva's hands down one of the greatest.
Mhm.
You know, Conor McGregor, he's a fighter. He's not one of the greatest. I'll say he's a fighter. He's a good fighter, not one of the greatest.
I agree.
He knew how to use his mouth to get what he wanted. That's basically what he did.
Mhm.
Now, what do you think the outcome of that fight will become between Anderson and this fighter Silva?
Conor McGregor's going to knock him out. Conor McGregor's going to knock him out. Yep.
I think that will be one of the most boringest goddamn fights I've ever seen, where they're going to stand there and make kung fu poses at each other for at least 3 rounds before they start fighting. Or
Conor's going to knock him out.
McGregor already has spoken to Anderson Silva the same way he learned from Mayweather, and they said, let's make some money. Let's push this to a 5-round shit show, pardon my language, where at the end of this, it turns into a sham.
I think Conor's going to knock him out. I think it's not going to go past 2 rounds. Conor's going to knock him out. Anderson Silva's too old. He doesn't have the stamina that he once had, and he's getting into a ring. He's getting into an octagon with a guy that has, and I'll give him credit when credit is due, even though I'm not a big fan of his. He has got a deadly left hand. I don't think Anderson Silva's ever fought a guy that has a very sneaky, hidden left hook. And I think Anderson, because he's older and he's slower, he's going to get caught.
But
and he's going to get tapped.
Kick. He's got the crane kick.
No, it's not going to work against Conor.
He's got the crane kick.
It's not going to work. Not maybe 8 or 9 years ago. 8 or 9 years ago, Anderson Silva would have whipped Conor's ass. He would have whipped his ass. But right now, Conor, being that he's the young one, he's 30, 31, and Anderson Silva's about 39, 40, I'm going with Conor.
See, I don't think this fight even happens. I think if a super fight does happen, I think you are more likely to see a fight between McGregor and Masvidal.
I would love to see Masvidal because I think Masvidal could knock Conor out. I think he's got the power to do it.
The reason why I'd rather see that fight is because I don't want to see Masvidal get a shot at Usman's title. I don't think he deserves it.
He's not going to beat Usman anyways.
I think Leon Edwards does, which unfortunately everybody wants to start with this BMF title crap, that Toys R Us belt. I think ultimately he should stay with these little circus fights with McGregor and make some bank. Because obviously, the UFC doesn't care about the rankings or what the hell they're doing in the divisions to crown a deserving champion.
I don't think anybody's going to beat Usman right now. I think he's a great fighter, and we've seen it. You saw what he did against Tyron Woodley, and Tyron Woodley's trying to come back and maybe make a statement that he can maybe get that welterweight championship belt back. It's not going to happen.
Gilbert Burns would be a nice win for him, especially the way Gilbert Burns is performing lately.
No, he's fought very well, Burns.
But he's very under the radar.
Mhm.
Gilbert Burns, obviously, is the underdog in this fight because of Woodley and Woodley's past achievements. Weighing in heavily with that, I think Gilbert Burns has the advantage in this.
It's going to be a boring fight.
Maybe it may be like the lay and pray deal.
It is.
But it's a 5-round lay and pray deal. That's a long 5 rounds. A half hour of just laying and praying. But I think Gilbert Burns, if he does win this fight, it's not going to be by decision. He's going to have to go for the knockout. If it goes to a decision, Woodley's going to take it. So that's just my take on it.
The reason I also bring up about Anderson and Conor McGregor is I was training with Anderson Silva back in March, and he was moving really nice, and I was shocked how well he was moving for, since he hasn't been doing it as much before.
Did you watch him 15 minutes after everybody left when he started putting his feet in the Epsom salts and he pulled out the hemorrhoid donut and the walker just to, I don't know, when the cameers were over?
Where do you get one of those things?
What,
I
hemorrhoid donut?
I
don't know. I need one right now.
weekend.
My back is killing me. Honestly. Feels like my spine is coming through my nostril.
Well, maybe you should ask your friend over there, get a Team Panda hemorrhoid donut with your name imprinted on it.
Hey, I'll make money however I can in this time and days. you don't understand the type of person I am, Errol.
Well, I keep telling you guys.
Other people see, question marks. I see opportunity.
So a hemorrhoid donut with your name on it is an opportunity.
If one person buys it, that's one more buy than I had before.
What happens if nobody buys it? It's a big sellout.
Then guess what? In the summertime, somebody's going to leave a life preserver. So they could just jump through that little puppy, and now it becomes a raft for kids. They could just float around.
So you want your children, you're going to tell me you're going to have your children use a hemorrhoid donut with your name on it, Panda, whatever, Team Panda, out there swimming in a swimming pool?
Well, if
free promotion
if
is
it
better
floats,
than no promotion.
You're out of your mind.
If it floats,
you're out of your.
what's the
damn mind.
difference? No. Let's go.
What the hell are you going to use a hemorrhoid
Kenny, let me
donut
ask
to
you
swim in
something.
a swimming pool?
Kenny, let me ask you something. What's the difference between one of those big inflatable, round, whatever the hell you want to call it, and the hemorrhoid donut? Just the size, right? They both are made out of plastic or rubber, and they both have air in it. They both float. It's just the size that's different.
So you're going to tell me
and the title of it.
Your wife
You could technically
your
say-
wife knows what a hemorrhoid donut is. She's going to let your children swim in a swimming pool with a hemorrhoid donut with your name on it.
First
Are you
off,
nuts?
why does my wife have to know what the hell it is? Dad knows what it is.
She's
and I'll
watching this right
provide.
now. She should call up the show right now because I guarantee you she will not let your children.
After that little comment you made about rolling off somebody's tongue,
Yes.
you don't want her calling.
Why?
Please.
What? Come on. She loves me.
Please.
She loves me.
Oh, really?
She loves me. How could you not love me? I mean,
Okay.
I've got the smile that'll bright up the world. Let me tell you.
Unfortunately, it has to be next to me to just get amplified a little bit.
I don't know about amplified, but I'm not using no hemorrhoid donut with your name on it. That's
Listen,
for sure.
what's the difference? Okay, the big ones, you sit your ass in there, you float down, float in the water. These you
Is
can slip
everybody
on your
listening
arms.
to
They're
this?
swimmies.
Is everybody listening to this about
Listen,
hemorrhoid donuts?
You have to adapt.
Mr. Hemorrhoid over here?
Listen, you have to adapt.
You're not Team Pander. You're Team Hemorrhoid. That's what you are.
You love me.
I do love you, but I think Team Hemorrhoids is more with a ringtone.
You know, ratings have gone up since I've been on this show.
Well, rating. What do you mean since you've been on this show? This is a new show.
Well, technically it's a new show, but you had other people on this show.
Well, a show, not this show.
But you had other people on a MMA show.
Yeah, MMA show
on
but
this
not-
network,
but not this show.
Not this show.
It's a different
This show
name.
is-
It's a different show. Different
Technically,
brand.
this week it's a different show than last week.
Well, technically it is, and technically I'm not using your hemorrhoid in a freaking swimming pool. Okay?
If you were drowning, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
What if no ass had sat in it? It's brand new out of the box.
Oh my God, I am not using a hemorrhoid.
You could fit them on your forearms.
I'm not
and
using
just
one.
Swimmies.
Swimmies? Are you listening to this? This is your friend.
He's not surprised at what I'm saying.
This is your friend here.
He is not surprised at what I'm saying.
This is an MMA show, and we're talking about a hemorrhoid donut.
This
okay?
man has seen me in
by the way,
a lot of different situations.
By the way,
this is nothing.
By the way, I've lost 15 pounds in almost 2 weeks, and I want a donut. I'm interested in having a nice jelly donut.
No.
Why?
No, you can't. What, you going to fall off the wagon?
I feel like I have to, man.
No.
I'm
no.
hungry, you know?
No, that's just your blood sugar. You need like a Tic Tac or something.
A Tic
You need like a Tic Tac or something.
Oh, my God. Is he still on? Are you still online?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Kenny just sits back and listens because Kenny's not surprised by anything that I say.
I need a
This
Tic
is a
Tac.
guy that I've traveled
This is a-
with 2 MMA shows.
Kenny,
He is not surprised by anything.
Kenny's telling me I need a Tic Tac.
He says he's feeling
woozy. I want a donut.
He feels a little woozy. He wants a donut.
I want a jelly
But
donut, but I
he's
don't
gonna
want a
fall off the
hemorrhoid
wagon.
donut.
How much weight have you lost?
15 pounds.
You lost 15.
In almost 2
So
weeks.
now, in 2 weeks, you lost a pound a day. Now you want to throw a donut.
Yeah.
As a fat man, I can't let you do that. We don't want you.
So
You got to stay on that side where, you're going to be on the infomercials at 2 o'clock in the morning. Where
2 o'clock on my mother? Did you just say 2 o'clock on my mother? I just.
He did. Sorry.
You did. He said 2 o'clock on my mother. Now, how do you think
slip.
my mom would feel if you were talking about her?
The fact that I mentioned her and her own son didn't on this show, she's probably feeling
I have
a
mentioned
little
my
upset.
mother on this network plenty of times.
You know something? I will mention my mother because today is my mother's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Do you want to sing happy birthday?
No, but you want to know who else's birthday it is?
Who is it?
Tom Sconzo's.
Oh, happy birthday, Tom.
Today, yes, it is.
Today
It
is
Mr.
Tommy
Sconzo.
Sconzo's birthday.
Tommy Scon. Do you want to
That's
sing
right.
happy? You want to sing happy birthday to him?
No, because
Why?
he's not listening.
How do you know he's not listening?
Because he's probably out.
Well-
He's probably out drinking.
He's drinking. He just had pneumonia. He's outside drinking.
So he's due.
He's due.
Yeah, he needs a drink. You need a donut. He needs a drink. He needs something to kill the germs.
Oh my God.
He's already got the antibodies. He's just like, instead of mouthwash, he's just going the shaken not stirred route. That's all.
Oh, hold on one second. I want to sing happy birthday to Tom Sconzo. Come on, ready? We'll sing it the Chipmunk way. Do you want to sing with them?
Why the hell would you do the chipmunk way?
Because I think it'd be.
Huh?
I think it'd be funny.
Why the hell would you have the chipmunk
I
way?
think it'd be funny.
That's not even the real chipmunks. It's chipettes.
Hold on. Let's do this. You ready?
Those are female chipmunks.
Whatever. We'll sing with the female chipmunks, okay?
No, I'm not singing.
Tommy, this is for you, buddy. All for you.
He's not listening.
Here we go. To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Come on, Tom. Happy birthday to you. Come on, Tom. Happy birthday to you. Tom Sconzo. Tom Sconzo. Birthday, Tom Sconzo. Happy birthday to you. Come on, come on, come on. Happy birthday to you. Come on, Tommy. Happy birthday to you. Come on, Tommy. Happy birthday, Tommy Sconzo. Happy birthday to you. Come on, come on. Happy Tom. Happy Tom.
Remix?
Happy Tom. Happy Tom. Happy Tom. Happy birthday to you. Come on, Tommy. There you go.
Man, I'm getting fired just for being sitting next to you. For
Why?
That one.
What, you didn't like that?
Dude.
I thought that was good. What did you guys think?
I just hope Tom doesn't put me on the same page as Anthony because I still want to work.
I'm telling you right now, it may be a while until we get an assignment.
Well,
but
I'm going to
just
make
saying.
sure Speedy cuts that, and I'm going to have Speedy send it to Tom Sconzo. I'm going to have
Just tag him. Just tag him.
No. I want the whole part of that song, that track.
Just tag him.
No, I'm not going to tag because he has to watch the whole show. You know.
I see what you're
He's not going to be able to. He's not going to wait until that part. What I'm going to have is I'm going to have Speedy cut that out and send it to Tom Sconzo.
You know what I'm really impressed by?
Mm-hmm.
How high your voice gets.
Why are you impressed?
I don't know.
That was pretty high.
That was pretty high.
Well, I have a beautiful voice. You know, I mean, it's not one of those sexy voices, but it's beautiful.
Like a bird.
Yes.
Like a bird.
Like a bird. Well, hold on one second. Now you're telling me my voice sounds like a bird? What am I, a hawk or an eagle?
I didn't say that.
So what are you saying?
Bird.
You just said that
those birds
Kenny,
don't sing.
Kenny, you see this? We have to go.
When the hell was the last time you heard a hawk sing?
Well, Kenny, he's telling me now my voice sounds like a bird.
Like a songbird.
It did. When you were singing, it did.
Get out of here, Kenny.
songbird.
Now I really think that you guys
Errol is
are
the songbird
in cahoots
of this
with each other.
generation.
I am not the
No,
songbird.
I'm not in cahoots. Anthony, tell you yourself. You ever want a straight, honest opinion, not just from Anthony, you can hit me up. I don't give a two what I
Not just from
him. I'll tell you the truth.
Kenny, you didn't even sing. I'm ashamed of you.
We didn't.
You're right.
Honestly, we were so intimidated by that virtuoso, we couldn't do it.
That was a great.
Couldn't do
couldn't compare it. It was
Couldn't do it.
Why would we want to mess
Didn't
up?
want to embarrass ourselves by basically looking so bad next to that.
So you're embarrassed of my beautiful voice singing to the
in
great Tom
comparison to
Sconzo?
ours?
Yes.
In comparison to ours, we would be embarrassed.
I was singing to the great Tom Sconzo, your boss.
Yes, he is.
Your boss, both of your bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him all that he needed right there. When he goes to bed now, he has that wonderful song by Errol Marks, who gave him the urge to go and get go get drunk. I'm sorry. So this is a great thing for Tom Sconzo. So Tommy, that was for you, my friend.
There you go.
There you go. I'd like to thank Dee Hamaguchi for joining us. She was great. She gave us some good insight of boxing and MMA and her transition into the MMA world, and really her background in the boxing world. It's an incredible story. If you guys want to listen, we did have some phone problems. She actually got into the right, and you were blaming my phone, by the way.
Yes, I did.
It wasn't my phone.
Okay.
So there you go. Attacking me again, Anthony.
Oh, okay.
You see what I deal with, Kenny? This is what I deal with.
Did you want me to say that I'm wrong? I'm sorry.
Well, you are wrong.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to admit
I
it.
deal with it too. Don't worry about it.
I'm not going to admit it.
He is wrong, Kenny.
It was on your phone that this crap happened. Whether it was her side or your side, it don't matter. Two phones, two had to tango for it to be disconnected. Your phone was part of it.
You know what?
I know my sure as hell wasn't.
Your phone is never involved with it. You're always looking at yourself in the picture.
So I always win. There you go.
You don't always win. You're
I
wrong.
always win.
You're
if I
wrong.
can't lose, then I'm winning.
You're wrong. Well, hold on one second. So because you're sitting here and you're just saying that you're winning, so you win? What is that all about?
You understand me so well.
Well,
this is why we work well together.
Yeah, I don't understand, Kenny. I don't understand this. This is dealing with this every other week is just giving me so much of a headache.
Could you imagine if it was a daily thing?
Well, if it's a daily thing, I'd probably be hiding under the desk.
Never happen. You would never hide under a desk.
You're probably right. I don't
Never.
hide from much of anything, but
Never.
that's true.
Then you would just see like some cryptic hand come up and like start typing and stuff, cousin it style. It would just be like, you know.
Kenny, thank you
then,
for
of course,
joining us.
Speedy would be here like, I don't know what to do with my
Thank
hands.
you for having me.
Like Speedy would be like, what are we doing?
Man.
What's going on?
Kenny, we definitely got to go before I pull my hair out of my head. I mean, I do need a haircut, so maybe I'll have.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I'm sure you will.
I don't miss a speck. It's all even.
I am not letting you cut my hair.
It's all even. It'll become all even.
I am not letting you cut my
Why
hair.
not?
I am not letting you
I'll
touch
leave
my head.
something there.
I am not letting you touch my
God
head.
knows you need to put some kind of you have that urge. You want to put product in something.
Product? I'm wearing a hat. What kind of product do I have in my
You didn't
head?
get a chance to put product in it.
I didn't want to put product in my hair. I don't put product in my hair
Ever?
maybe once a
Ever?
week. Once a week.
That's how long it lasts?
No. All right, Kenny. We'll have to go. We have to go because I don't want to get into this whole back and forth banter.
The
But,
faces you make when it's just like you don't want to go there. It's amazing. It could be its own emoji.
Oh, so now you're going to put my head on an emoji?
No, your head would be the frickin' emoji. It's the sight of. I don't want to deal with this. Like it's. They don't have one of those. You could make millions.
You want my head to be an emoji?
The face that you make when you really get aggravated with something that I bring up could be its own emoji. You could ultimately be like the guy who came up with the poop.
So instead of being a piece of poop, I'm going to have my face in my deliberate facial expressions.
Showing disgust or disdain, yes.
Very interesting. Kenny, you see what we do over here?
It's better than that thing with tears.
Yes.
It's interesting. I'm glad you're listening to this live and in color because I am just completely lost.
He's not surprised by anything I'm saying.
No, I'm not surprised either.
No.
He's not surprised. You should hear some of the stuff that Kenny's had to go through. You got nothing. You honestly have like the Coors Light version. You know some of the stuff that Kenny's had to go through?
Coors Light.
You should hear about the next time Kenny comes on, he's got to tell you about the story about how I almost tried stabbing him outside a drugstore because he was annoying me.
How wonderful.
With
Thank
the
you.
post that I ripped out of the ground.
So now you're a serial killer.
He went vampire mode.
I pulled the stake out of a ground because it was the only thing I could find.
So you're a serial killer. So I'm sitting next to a born-again serial killer. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm Catholic. I'm not born again.
Oh, so you're just,
okay, I
you're
got it
just a
right the
serial
first
killer.
time.
So you're just a serial killer.
So, no, serial killer does things by, like, just random. I specifically was going after him.
So you ran after him. And Kenny, you let him catch you?
Well, the doors, you know those, like, electric doors? They weren't opening up that fast. The sensor was pro panda. That's all I can say.
Kenny, well.
And at the same time, Kenny got yelled at by the little lady because he cursed. I'm chasing him with the stake, yet he got yelled at for cursing.
Well, I feel bad for you, Kenny. I feel bad for you. But, Kenny, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night, fellas.
You too.
Later, buddy.
Kenny, a.k.a. Sabretooth. Interesting.
What part?
Him.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, even though you tried to stab him to death.
I didn't try to stab him to death.
What were you trying to do?
Just throw something at him. It just so happened to have a point.
Oh,
it just so happened to come out of a ground.
So instead, you decided to stab him with a
It wasn't
point.
a stabbing.
Well, you did. You threw it at him, so that's stabbing.
No, I didn't get a chance to throw it at him.
Oh.
He got inside. I'm not going to throw it in the store. What am I, crazy?
Yes, you are. I mean, everything that I've heard so far, I think
that's personally, that's just opinion. that's opinion. There's no factual basis behind that.
Oh, man. Anyways, that's it for our show, Caged in MMA. We will be back 2 weeks from now, and we will have Anthony Hernandez joining us. Well, that'll be fun. So Anthony, who lost his last fight at UFC Fight Night, what was it, 3 weeks ago? 3 Saturdays ago?
A couple weeks ago, but he once again he's some of this young talent that we want to see in the UFC develop. You know, so we want to have him on the show. We're not like some of these other people where
just
the guy who gets his hand raised. You know, these other fighters. You know, these other fighters deserve a lot of attention for everything that they go through.
Well, there you go. Anyways, that's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is do this. You can call us at 631-965-4990. You can also reach us by going to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. You can go on our Instagram, Caged in MMA. Yes, it's Cage, CAGED, in IN, MMA, MMA. There you go. You can find us there. Anthony is running our Caged in MMA, or you can go to the Worldwide Sports Radio Instagram. You can go to both of them.
Or you could call Errol at any time in the middle of the night. He loves taking phone calls.
No, I don't. No, I do not. And do not call me after the show because I will not answer. Okay?
Jeff's not going to listen.
I am not doing it. I will not answer. Not a chance.
Dude, I'm in so much pain. I got to make myself laugh.
No, you're making yourself laugh, and you're making me scared that after I get off, I'm going to get 1 million phone calls. Thank you, Anthony. Anyways, please download our app, guys. It's all for the fans. We've made it. I've worked first of all, I put a lot of money into this, and I put a lot of time into this for the fans so they can download the app and follow us throughout our social media. So all you got to do is go to the iOS if you have an Apple and search us at WWSRN, Worldwide Sports Radio Network, WWSRN.
And real quick before you hang up.
Mm-hmm.
Or hang up or
and Android, all you got to do to the Play Store is Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
I have to say this, and I will say this really quickly as possible. This guy over here, as much as I bust his balls, as much as he may have to go into therapy after dealing with me for much longer.
Never.
Okay, at least start drinking. This guy, you have no idea. We kid around, we talk all the time on the phone and everything like that. This guy busts his ass to try to get some great shows on this network.
Thank you.
He does it. Yes, we have a lot of people that help and support, and he has a lot of people that back him up. But this guy right here, he doesn't have just one full-time job. This guy does it all. And you want to know something? He gives up sleep. He doesn't. I mean, we joke about it.
Yes.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just who he is. And I'll tell you right now, I give you a lot of credit.
Thank you.
I give you a lot of credit. It should be said. It should be known. It should be recognized. I'm recognizing it. So now,
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? I feel like with that being said, we could.
Well, that almost made me cry, man. That's something nice. I mean,
why do you sound surprised?
No, I appreciate
that. Not a cretin. No, what the hell?
I don't think you're a cretin. But
you bust your ass to do all this stuff.
I do.
For all the schmucks that we've all dealt with in life, I've dealt with them. Fighters. Other coaches, other people I've worked with and stuff, you have in this industry. I think we all have to deal with that and all that stuff. You keep coming back, you keep doing it, and you want to know something, you just don't stop.
Work, because my plan is to take this radio network to higher heights where we are not even known here in New York, but we're world-renowned, and that's what I want us to be. And that's what we're going to be because hard work pays off. And we're doing it here on Long Island. I'm going to be announcing something very, very soon for the fans. I think a lot of people are going to be very excited about this. It's been in the works for the last couple of months, and finally it's going to happen. So I'm very excited about announcing it in the next week or so. You guys are going to be hearing it all over social media and on the shows. So I'm very excited about that. So stay tuned for that. And Anthony, you're a great co-host. You really are.
I know.
You give me a lot of insight and back and forth banter. So, and you're a big pain in the ass.
And if anybody wants my DraftKings picks, hit me up on Instagram.
Just so you guys know, follow my picks because I think I'm going to win. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. We will, and I'm going to definitely be fully tuned in and ready to load on you after the fights because I'll be watching it at a party and I'll be DJing and you'll probably be there maybe. So it'll be fun. Anyways, that's it for our show. We will be back in 2 weeks with Anthony Hernandez and maybe some few other guests here on Caged in MMA. My co-host Anthony Anderosi and how do you pronounce your?
Does it really matter
Italian
at this
name?
point? Say it American, Italian, Polish.
How do you pronounce it?
Andriosi.
Andriosi. Anthony Andriosi. Okay.
There we go.
And Errol Marks. We will be back, and I'm sure you guys will be excited very, very soon. So thank you for joining us. We're very happy for all the fans to tune in to us every single time, every single day, putting in the time and the effort into listening to the craziness on this show. So thank you. Happy birthday, Tom Sconzo. Happy birthday to your mother. Happy birthday to my friend Joey. It's his birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to Jessica, Rocky, a good friend of mine, his wife. So a lot of birthdays, a lot of birthdays. So happy birthday to all. And stay safe. And we'll talk to you in 2 weeks here on Caged in MMA.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
Right there, hold on, right there. Boom, I faked him. Oh, whoa, that was, whoa. I'm back.
But Mama Babo, how you say his name?
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light.
Fighting out of the red corner.
I completely dominated that fifth round. That fifth round want me to fight.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The #1 MMA show in America. Caged in MMA.